everybody, what's going on? Another episode of Heavy Metallurgy. Happy Friday. Hope you've all had a wonderful week. I'm Marty. It's good to see you. I'm joined once again by the most awesomest host on the internet, Alan. Professor Steele, how are you?
I'm doing okay. It's a Friday, so good to make it to the weekend and have some fun hanging out. We've got two returning guests, one we haven't seen for a while, so should be a very fun time. But Melanie, Pat, thank you both for joining us this evening.
Pat, I'm digging the beard. I like how you have it shaped and how long it's gotten.
Oh yeah,
it works. It does work.
Speaking of Pat, he's fresh off his Eastern Seaboard tour of houses. He's finally landed and he has returned to Heavy Metallurgy. How have you been and what's been going on?
Pretty good. Hopefully the connection's okay. There's been a little delay with you guys. Connectivity is usually pretty good here, but it can be spotty. Everything's been good. I'm back in Salem, so my channel name makes sense again. So
glad you didn't change it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I kept it the way it was. I had it divided by dots, like Unbroken's Life, Love, Regret for a while, but now I'm back to the OG style. Everything's good. I'm just back at work. Still collecting away, albeit a little bit slower. Spending some money on video games now instead of records. Not that much else, just making videos, doing the dad thing. Nothing too exciting, but happy to be back in Salem. It's a great town, good community here. So
until Halloween hits, and then it's chaos. But
we actually took like the last week of October into early November off completely, and we're leaving. So that gives you any idea.
Right on.
That's great.
Oh, but yeah, really good to have you kind of active again on YouTube. Pat's been putting out some new videos. If folks have missed them, definitely go catch up over at Ground Zero Salem.
Yeah, I'm trying to do an upload every Thursday. I'm trying to do Thursdays for uploads. So keep your eyes.
Well, it's good to see you back. Like I said, I ate some lunch and watched your most recent video, and for a guy that claims he's downsizing his collection or downsizing his spending habits, I think that's a lie. That's a lie.
I mean, maybe a bit, but it is a little bit less. Like that's all. A lot of it is stuff that's been over the past like 6-7 months. I'm almost completely caught up with the stuff that I bought. So that's hasn't happened ever. So
no, they do. It's baby steps. It takes a while.
It does.
Gotta get that monkey off your back slowly. Can't just rip him off. He's got claws.
Yeah. The problem for me is I get on the wagon and say I can't be buying stuff. It lasts a couple months, and then the fall is it's ugly. The fall is always ugly. Yep. And the wagon runs you over. And then you're dragged into the woods by a pack of sick little monkeys.
Yeah. And soon
that was very graphic and
yeah. Well, it's good to see you, man. Whoever, if you're not familiar with Pat's channel, please link in the description. Go over there. He's doing the Lord's work over there, and also doing very, very, very busy. Melanie loves death metal. She's got all sorts of new things going on. It's been good.
Yeah.
Been good to see that stuff growing, and it's good to see you again. How have you been?
Good. Yeah, I'm happy that I finally launched my website. People have been telling me to do it for a long time now. I never really thought of it as like anything that would make sense, but then the fact that I'm writing reviews, it's been a nice change. And they're short reviews. They're not like those super long, 3-page reviews with the 4 out of 5 stars and whatever else. So it's been fun. And
I do miss writing reviews. I do miss it. I can see the attraction to it for sure.
Yeah, I definitely find that I am able to articulate what I'm thinking a lot better in writing because I take more time to write it and rewrite it over and over again. Whereas on my videos, I'm so off the cuff. I don't have like a script or really any of a thought process. I just say shit and talk about stuff on my videos. But yeah, so the website's been fun. And then I started actually like acknowledging my subscribers, my members, I should say, over on YouTube, because like Simon from Explosive Action is the only reason why I started doing that, because he started doing it. and he said, like, do it. You'll be surprised. And I got over 20 members, so now I'm doing monthly member giveaways for the people that are subscribed for 99 cents. So that giveaway is active right now, and I'm pulling the winner on Sunday. So if you want to join my YouTube channel for 99 cents and get in on the giveaway, I have a ton of stuff just over here stacked for giveaways that people have sent me that I've been buying. So I've been the death metal Oprah, as people call me, on YouTube. It's been fun. It's been fun doing those.
So it sounds like the next logical step is Melanie Loves Death Metal Records. You heard it here first, everybody. You heard it here first. The endless throwing your money down a well. Yeah.
Marty, before she can do that, I do have to register a complaint here. Blow me up. I do have to say, yes, Melanie's, got, a cool new site, and there's a link to it and all that, and she's got some cool new merch. However, now, Melanie, I ordered a shirt from you, and it's been like 36 hours since I sent you money. So, where's my burrito? Where's my burrito?
I know that. I think it shipped the next day, actually.
Sit down. Here's your burrito. And here's your shirt.
Oh my God.
Oh man, you got Mel involved. This is great.
Mel's on the payroll, apparently.
I guess.
Forgot to check the mail. I got burritoed. I thought it might squeak.
Oh well.
But hey, well,
you ate the squeaker out of that earlier, apparently.
Apparently, but
very
what
nice.
I meant to say was thank you, Melanie, and I'll be right back.
Here you go, put it on. So Simon has messaged me like every Friday for like the past 3 weeks. He's like, Alan's wearing your shirt again. And I'm like, Jesus, he wears it more than I do.
Mine is lost in the closet. I wore it once when I printed them, and I got it in the wash and folded it. And I'm like, oh shit, keep forgetting to put it on.
I have 4 physical ones left, and I kept 2 for myself. And so just to one, when it runs out, it's going to shrink and get all dingy after wearing it 100,000 times. So
yeah. Right. Well, awesome. Links to all of Melanie's new activities and, of course, our YouTube channel in the description. Everybody go check out her review site. Very, very cool. It's good to see that coming back again. And there he is. All right. Looking good.
Nice.
There we go.
I have a flag of that coming too, so that'll be coming, hanging in my room. I'm gonna I look so vain because I've got like my merch all over the place in my room.
I don't know what to do with this though.
Well, yeah, that was a one-time prop. Now what do you do with it?
Is it a dog toy or is it a stress toy?
It actually came with some kind of little board game that Dean has where it's like it's kind of like the Exploding Kittens card game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's it's like Burrito Bash or something, and you use these little beanbag burritos as a prop for the game.
This is a dog toy for who asked Tony? It's a dog toy. My dogs are usually in my room with me, but they're not right now because I don't feel like getting up and letting them out 100 times. But
yep, I tried playing catch with my dog today. She's a 8-year-old, half English bulldog, half beagle, and she's lazy because of the English bulldog, and she just doesn't want to play anymore. She'll carry a ball around, but she won't give it to me. And if I get it and I throw it, she just kind of walks to it, picks it up, walks back, and then won't let me have it again. It's like, you don't get the concept of this game anymore. Come on, you used to do it.
Yeah. My corgi, it doesn't understand fetch. He just takes it and runs away. So, but he's also lazy too.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for joining us. Let's go ahead.
My pit bull took the biggest dump I've ever seen today. That's all I have to say.
Was it the size of that burrito?
2-bagger.
Wow.
That's a pretty big burrito.
That's a big burrito. Yeah. Me and the dog, whenever we go for a walk, I tell her, I said, I don't have it. I forgot a bag. Well, you're not going to take a shit. Don't take a shit. I'll just keep her moving and she won't take a shit. So it's good. But anyway, it's good to see you folks. And thanks everybody in the chat for joining us. And yeah, Mike brought it to our attention. We're about 90 away from 7,000, the long slog to 7,000. We're finally almost there. Thanks everybody. We're getting there. And yeah, all because of you folks. Thanks for joining us as always. And
Yeah, already see a couple of new folks in the chat tonight. Hope you enjoy hanging out, having some fun, and yeah, talking about some heavy metal stuff. We are going to talk about metal, we promise. We're getting to it pretty soon.
speaking of, Alan had a pretty interesting little idea. So what is our concept for tonight? Sir
Okay.
Professor.
Yeah, concept for tonight is there's a pattern that we've all noticed when you talk about, what your favorite album is by different bands. A lot of people will pick one and then say like, well, actually that's the first album I heard by the band too. And so, it's kind of a running joke with a lot of folks that, oh, your first album is just the first album you heard by a band. Doesn't really matter how good the album is. If it's the first one you heard by them, it's going to end up being your favorite. And I kind of got to thinking about it. It's like, is that actually, how often is that true? I mean, obviously it's not always true, but does it happen a lot? Is it just kind of a random 50-50? So I was like, well, we could test that out. We'll bring on a couple of guests. We're going to run through a bunch of bands. We kind of picked bigger name bands, ones that have a pretty long discography to make sure it wasn't just one or two albums. And yeah, for each band, we'll say, okay, this is our favorite album by the band, but was it the first one we heard? Yes or no? And I'm going to kind of keep score and see just how many times we say that, yeah, my favorite one is the first one I ever heard by them. And how many times it's not true. And then at the end of the evening, we can see, how often we kind of fall into that pattern or not. So should be kind of a fun little experiment. Get to talk about our favorite album by a bunch of different groups and also kind of reveal, what the first album we ever heard by them was. That's the idea for tonight. And we figured, both Melanie and Pat would be great for this. They've got really wide range of taste in, different styles of metal. So we can bring up bands from, thrash, black, death, doom, and, folks will be able to answer most of them. Every now and then one of us may need to skip a band if it's somebody we just never really checked out much. But yeah, I think we can all kind of jump in here. And Marty has got super organized tonight and has like everything stacked in a very specific order. So
it happens once in a while, Alan.
So we're going to kind of let Marty call the shots on which band we start with and go from there.
All right. Well, we'll start with Pat. Oh, go ahead, Mel. What were you going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, okay. I was just I was hearing on the other end, I guess. Well, I guess what we're going to start with is Death. That's the first on the list. And this is a list that Alan generated, pulled some names out of a hat, apparently. And we're going to start with Pat.
Hi. Okay, so Death, the first one that I heard, was one of those things where I was there for it. I was around for it, which is Death Human. And the question is this my favorite? And perhaps surprisingly to some people that may follow my channel, it is yes, it is. I love Scream Bloody Gore. That's probably second in the lineup for me. Just the raw early death metal, still kind of rooted in thrash kind of thing, is definitely my go-to. But the songcraft on this is great. It's about as proggy as I like my death metal. Not too much beyond this is anything that really appeals to my caveman brain. But the songs on this are just so good. And all the players on it are fantastic too. So this was me falling in love with Death. The music videos that came out for it, played on Headbangers Ball. Tale as Long as Time. Death Human, first one I heard, my favorite.
Can't go wrong with Steve DeGorgio on anything. Especially Autopsy. Autopsy was a special. They had the special sauce when they had Steve DeGorgio on bass.
Yep. I agree with you on that.
All right, good start. And Melanie, Death.
So the first one I ever heard was Leprosy. And that was because my brother had the cassette tape in his collection. And I remember seeing the Ed Repka artwork and thinking, oh, that looks awesome. And so I played it when he wasn't home one day. And that has been what I've claimed to be my all-time favorite death metal album and my favorite death album ever since. I think that is just hard to get away from for me for being my favorite. I do love Scream Bloody Gore. I consider that to be my second favorite death album. And then Human is my third. So again, I'm with Pat on Human. I love the progginess in that. Secret Base is just such an incredible song too. But yeah, no, Leprosy has always been my favorite Death album. I just love how it's got a little bit more of a thrashier feel to it. Definitely that 80s metal sound is there. Chuck still sounds relatively evil. You can see where they're starting to head into with that album for sure, in terms of sound. But like Born Dead has always been one of my favorite songs. And just, yeah, I love that album so much. And I still, like I said, I've said that that's like my desert island album. I would take it with me. I would probably never get sick of listening to it. And I know a lot of people do not like that album too. It's interesting. I've learned that now that I've come into the YouTube space, a lot of people they love telling me like Leprosy is their worst album. I'm like, really? That's so not true.
No.
Yeah,
contrarian kind of. I don't know.
I feel like was it Dennis from Analog Archives that said that? I don't know. I feel like he said that he said he liked it, and I was surprised by that. Somebody said they didn't like Leprosy recently in a video, and I about spit out my coffee when I was watching it. But yeah, I love that album so much. I think that is probably the one album I own the most in terms of physical copies. Like 4 different Relapse reissues, 3 different CDs that they put out. Every time they press a cassette tape, I get it. Like Relapse presses new Death stuff like every year, and I just buy the Leprosy part of it. So that's like one of the very few albums that I'll do that with.
Okay. Now some folks are confirming that, yeah, that was Dennis. Apparently he's not a Leprosy fan.
God damn it, Dennis. He's probably not here, but I'll message him. I'll message him on Instagram and give him a hard time.
All right. Awesome. Ornette Coleman. Wow, Aaron. Aaron started off with the deep dives on stuff that no one listens to other than Aaron.
That's jazz. He's a jazz artist. Come on, guys. I don't even know if I have a favorite Ornette Coleman. Maybe
here he is.
Maybe
Dennis, we were just speaking of you.
Just talking about you, man.
God damn it, Dennis. It's not overrated. That's not remembering now. He did a video of like where he thinks things are overrated, but people love them. And that was the one thing that I got angry about, but I chose not to put it in the comments. Aaron, let me think about Ornette Coleman. I have like 4 or 5 of his albums.
Oh my God. What is happening?
And I'll get back to you on that.
Tonight on Heavy Jazz Hands.
Hey. He's a saxophonist and he is great. Great.
As long as he stays off the metal records with his saxophone, I got no problem.
Actually, he played trumpet too. But yeah, I know him mostly for saxophone.
All right. Alan, Death.
Yeah, this is an interesting one to start with because I did a video on the Death discography just a couple of weeks ago over on Let's Talk Metal. As somebody just pointed out in the chat a minute ago, it's a really hard band for me to pick a favorite from just because, every album is a little different. They cover a wide range of styles and they're all good. They really didn't make a bad album. But let's see. First one I heard was Leprosy. Now, I did not hear it right when it came out. It was a few years later. But it is not my favorite. I didn't connect with Leprosy early on. And I think it was just a case of hearing it when I was getting saturated with too much death metal too quickly. So Leprosy has climbed up the ranks a lot for me over time. I would now rank it near the top. But my favorite at this point in time is definitely Symbolic. Several folks have actually picked that one. And yeah, it's an album that sometimes I feel like gets a little overlooked in the catalog because it's the one that doesn't have the all-star lineup like the several albums that came before it. But nevertheless, the performances are still great, and I just feel like the songs on that one really hit the right balance of heavy but also technical. Not too much of either one, just has a great sound. So yeah, I'd have to say that here my first Death album is not my favorite. So Leprosy came first, but Symbolic is number 1 for me. And Marty, that means it's your turn.
Well, Scream Bloody Gore is the first one I heard, and it is still to this day my favorite. And that's not me just being I'm so old school and hard when it comes to it's always the first album, the demos that are better. I'm not that guy, but I don't know. My buddy got this on tape, dubbed it for me, blew me away. When I've got my first CD player and I got enough money scraped together, I went to Camelot Music. I bought 3 CDs. I got this very CD. I got Them by King Diamond, and I got Show No Mercy by Slayer. And this thing to this day, and I just told the story recently, but it still kind of blows my mind. We got in the vehicle the other day to go run some errands. My kid's like, "Can I pick something to put on the stereo?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What do you want to check out?" And he's like, "I want to check out Death, Scream, Bloody Gore." And I'm like, "What? What did you say? Where did you hear about that?" "I don't know. I've just been hearing about it." And I'm like, yeah. So I put it on the old Bluetooth there, and he's doing this the whole time. "This is really good." Like, cool. And then for that whole week, every time we get in, he's like, "We listen to Death again?" I'm like, "Yeah." I just hope a couple of years. He doesn't read the lyrics until a couple of years. That'd probably be optimal. But this for me is, I do like the proggy stuff, and I agree. I think Symbolic is moving forward is a favorite for me as well. It just has a little less progginess and a little bit more aggression on it. But this thing here, I love Evil Chuck vocals. His vocals are just so searing and brutal, and the way he enunciates, it's pretty clear. And I don't know, it's just this album has always really stood the test of time. And then Chris Reeford, of course, just hammering away. Nothing real fancy in his drumming. He just laying down that beat and just crushing it. So all these songs to this day, I'm not sick of them. I put this on, I get fired up again, like I did the first time I heard it. So yep, I appreciate all the Death albums. Of course, I've been following them as they came out, but this one is the one I always want to go back to. Nostalgia, I don't know, but it's the right type of death metal for me. I just love that older style, raw but still musical. There's riffs. It's riff and song based. It isn't sound. It's the way it's supposed to be. So, Scream Bloody Gore for me, which takes us to the next band on the list, Sepultura.
All right. Sepultura, same scenario. I remember maybe not right when this came out, but it was all over MTV and The Box, if anybody remembers The Box, which is a request channel. Sepultura Arise was the first one I heard, and I mean, I don't know. All the Sepultura records are with Max, everything up to Chaos AD are important to me for different reasons. You know, like they're also kind of different from each other. I mean, if somebody had a gun to my head, or I had like a desert island kind of pick, it probably would be Arise. I'd probably just how like brutal and vicious, but still like very anthemic and catchy it is. Just can't go wrong. I love this record. So I'd pick this for my favorite, but it's a tough call. Sometimes I'm more in the mood for Schizophrenia. Sometimes I'm more in the mood for Morbid Visions. You know, Beneath the Remains is nothing to sneeze at. It's really hard to pick. So.
All right. Melanie.
My first was Arise, and that was my favorite for a very long time because it was literally the only one that I had access to. But I think Schizophrenia is probably my favorite now. I find that I pull that one the most and listen to it the most. And similar to what Pat had to say, Morbid Vision, Schizophrenia, Arise, and even Chaos AD, even though I probably don't listen to that nearly as much as I used to, all are phenomenal albums that are so important in my music journey. I think I wore a Sepultura shirt like every day when I was in high school. I was so obsessed with Max Cavalera. And so like those albums were always just so iconic. But now that I'm older and like I find that I pull Schizophrenia the most off of the shelf and listen to. So I'll say that, but I still do love Arise. And some people that knock it, I'm like, how can you knock that? It's such a perfect album. Like, but I love the more raw and grittiness of Morbid Visions and Schizophrenia, and even Beneath the Remains still has that raw and grittiness down to it. Arise has a little bit more of that cleanerness that they started getting into. But yeah, I love Schizophrenia. I think Simon, are you the one that absolutely loves that one too? But they recently re-recorded it, and I kind of was a little bit nervous about it. I was like, oh, why would they do that? But it doesn't sound too bad. I actually don't mind the
Jurgen loved both of the reissues.
Yeah.
He said they were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still haven't heard them.
So yeah, I bought them, and I because I think they sound great, and I always feel guilty when I listen to those first over the originals now, because it's like it almost feels like not okay. But no, I love Schizophrenia, and I honestly would love, like, because I'm one of those box set fiends, a like deluxe edition box set where they just pull like the demo tapes from it and they put it all into one big mess, like similar to like what Metallica did with all of their albums. Like, let's get those made. Come on, Roadrunner. You want more money. You have to at some point.
Is Roadrunner still functioning as a label?
No, I think they're don't they just license their stuff to people now? I think that's what it is.
Probably the music on vinyl.
Sounds right. I think Listenable reissued a lot of their stuff.
Yes.
A lot of classic stuff. So.
I guess that Nickelback gravy train eventually ran dry.
All right. Okay, Alan.
You know, I'm sure there's a great Nickelback joke there if I knew a single one of their song titles to work with. And I
couldn't even
I
tell
keep
you.
forgetting
What
the
a
fact
shame.
that they did it. I can't believe they put out, well, I do believe it. Big money for sure, but
yeah, it was huge for them. But anyway, let's see, Sepultura. So yes, Arise, also my introduction to the band. And yes, also through MTV. You know, the video for Dead Embryonic Cells was all over Headbangers Ball when that album was coming out. And yeah, I liked the song a lot. I bought it pretty soon after it came out, basically as soon as I could get to a town that had it in a record store. Is it my favorite? No, I think these days I would say Beneath the Remains is my favorite. Sepultura is a band who I've only worked through a lot of their back catalog closely in the past couple of years. So somehow I checked out, the Sepultura albums that came out when I, was actively buying them as they came out, but I never worked backwards for a long time. Now that I have, obviously the older albums are really good. And Beneath the Remains has been the one I've reached for the most in recent years. So I will pick Beneath the Remains, even though Arise was my first one. And I do like Arise. I've got nothing against it. It's on the shelf back there with all the others. But Beneath the Remains seems to be my go-to these days. So my first one is not my favorite one by Sepultura.
First time.
Marty?
All right. Yep. Well, I was a weekly inhabitant of Camelot Records. Every time, or Camelot Music, every time I'd get any scrap of money, I was there. There was no internet, and basically we shopped on record labels and like RC Records, Sepultura. This looks pretty cool. I bought the tape though. I got the tape when it came out, but blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. And in fact, I didn't hear. I think. Then I ended up getting Arise, which I also love. Really great record. I mean, it's like a continuation of this, maybe a little technically a little bit elevated in technicality, not much. But it wasn't until much later, until I started making runs down to more frequently to Grand Rapids to hit like Vinyl Solution down there and picking up. I got that 2-on-1 cassette tape. Was it Shark Records? They put out the Morbid Visions.
Yeah.
I still have the tape. And God damn it, the other one, my brain is like completely. What's the other early one?
Schizophrenia?
No,
Morbid Visions.
And the EP. What was the EP?
Oh,
Bestial Devastation.
Bestial Devastation. Yeah.
Yeah. They're 2-on-1 cassette, and I'm just like, this is the same band. It didn't register, and then eventually I got Schizophrenia. I really liked it, but even today, I want to listen to Sepultura. This is the one I'm grabbing. It's so well done. The songs are so simplistic, but they're hurled at you with a fury. There's just like this venom in these compositions and songs. It's just undeniable. It came through on the Scott Burns production, and they just completely devastated live. And just this band was on fire at this time, just hungry for whatever was coming their way. And it's still there on a rise. Don't get me wrong. I still really like that record, but yep, Beneath the Remains was my first, and it remains my favorite. Which leads us to, we have a notes function here now. It's kind of nice. Destruction. Pat.
Right. Okay. First one I picked up was a promo copy on Red, which was really rare at the time, of the Mad Butcher EP.
Nice.
The first thing I got on them.
I'm missing
great
that
little EP.
collection.
Yeah, great little EP. I remember the Schmear like high-pitched yells. Like, I can't even replicate it. I'm not even going to try. Being a little bit of a turnoff at the time. It's cool. It's an EP. Not my favorite thing by them, but great. You know, if I had to pick a favorite Destruction LP, I'd probably go with Infernal Overkill. I'd say it's just a ripping thrash record. It's awesome. You can't really go wrong with most of their early catalog. Everything up to Release from Agony is awesome, including that record. I think that Release from Agony is kind of low rated, but I'm going to go with Infernal Overkill for my favorite right now. Anyway,
Kind of like Cracked Brain too. I mean, it isn't Essential Destruction, but it's still good.
It's
Dude from
so-
Poltergeist singing. It's
So underrated. People
Yeah.
shit on that album. I don't know why, because I actually quite enjoy
I need to
it.
give it another shot. I haven't heard it in forever. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's not their best, but it's certainly not bad.
No, it's a good
Mhm.
record.
What comes after it gets pretty bad.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Mel, what you got?
So the first I ever heard was Release from Agony, and that was just because of the album cover. I remember walking into Sam Goody, was on my record store, walking in, and they used to have like the 3 headphone area where you could listen to a CD,
Mhm.
and that was one of them. So it must have just been reissued or something. And I was like, that looks awesome, as I'm wearing a Cannibal Corpse shirt. So I went over and I put it on, I listened to it, and I really, really liked it, but I didn't buy it. And then I came back a couple weeks later, it was gone, but Eternal Devastation in Infernal Overkill was there. And the guy was like, oh, Infernal Overkill is their first album. You got to get that first. You got to start there first. So I bought it. And to this day, that is my favorite thrash album and my favorite Destruction album. I cannot get enough of that album. I know a lot of people have other thrash albums that they consider their favorite. That one has always been like one of my all-time favorites. Between that and obviously Metallica's Ride the Lightning, like those are the 2 albums that I always say got me really into thrash music.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I love it. Whew. Choking up here.
Still choked up over it, man.
I'm getting a little
that's
emotional.
overkill. Yep. All right, Alan.
All right, this one's a little tricky for me because I got 2 Destruction records at the exact same time as my introduction to them. And this was through a tape trade. Somebody sent me a TDK that had Eternal Devastation on one side, and then had the second album on the second side of it. So I guess technically I heard Eternal Devastation first because I think it was on the A side of the tape. But yeah, those 2 albums have always been connected in my head because they were connected on the tape. And for a very long time, they were the only Destruction material I had other than the Mad Butcher EP. I found that on vinyl somewhere, and picked it up pretty soon thereafter. But other than that, Destruction albums just didn't cross my path very often. So I had an EP, and I had this tape with both albums spliced onto it. So it's like I heard them both at the same time practically, but I guess technically, well, no, let's see. I think I said Eternal Devastation was on the A side. It would make sense that Infernal Overkill was probably on the A side, and then they probably put Eternal Devastation on the B side. So I guess I heard Infernal Overkill first. These albums, it's always been a bit of a coin flip for me. Curse the Gods is probably my favorite song from either album. Yes, the production's weird on that album. It's never bothered me as much as it bothers some people. But I guess Infernal Overkill is a little better album overall. It's pretty close for me. So I guess technically I would say, my first is my favorite. Although it's really almost splitting hairs because of the way I got it. But yeah, we will technically say that Infernal Overkill is my favorite and also was my first by exactly 45 minutes.
All right.
Marty.
Well, first one I heard, Eternal Devastation. And yeah, you're right. Curse the Gods. I mean, this whole album, United by Hatred, the side A and side B openers are just both bangers. Confused Mind. Oh my God. This album is I listened to this so many times as a teenager, and the guitars in this production, they sound like, static electricity. It's just weird how they sizzle, but it's the riffs cut through. It gave them their own sound. It gave them that standard tuning, just tight as hell tone. But yeah, then shortly thereafter, I got the cassette for this one, Infernal Overkill, and I'm with Melanie. This thing, the production's really good. I like the guitar tone, and it still sounds like Destruction. They didn't make a very drastic leap between albums. They got a little bit more technical as they went. This is a little bit more evil. So, but the songs, what do we got here? Well, Bestial Invasion. Come on. Is there a better song? I don't know if there's a better song out there. Death Trap. Invincible Force. Come on. This thing is great. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, didn't this win our thrash bracket to some people's
it did. Yeah,
unending dismay? Yep. Yeah. But
Simon turned heel at the last second and in epic fashion.
Yep. Jim's still pissed about that, by the way. He's still stewing about it. But yep, Infernal Overkill, my favorite. So yeah, there's one I flipped on.
Okay.
Which leads us next to Kreator.
All right, Kreator. So, jump over to CDs here. And this is like, I'm not sure which kind of scenario. I picked up the Out of the Dark Into the Light EP on cassette around the time that Coma of Souls was huge. Again, music videos and all that. The people of the live music video. I can't remember which one I got first. I got them at almost the exact same time. So since that's an EP with covers and live stuff, I'm just going to go with Coma of Souls. It's a proper album. Not my favorite, but I do hold it in very high regard. I know a lot of people kind of don't. But I mean, I love the songs on this. They get a little bit more melodic and everything. I'm going to have to go with Endless Pain for my favorite right now, which I don't have a copy of that kicking around somewhere. I didn't pull it. But I mean, that's just such a nasty early thrash, just kind of messy, almost proto black metal, just gross. I like everything. Again, I like everything up to this a lot, Terrible Certainty and all that. But right now, yeah, like Endless Pain is my go-to for a Kreator record. So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay.
All right. Melanie.
Coma of Souls was my first one that I ever heard, but it's not my favorite. Funny enough, Extreme Aggression is my favorite Kreator album. And that is only because I saw the album cover and was like, look at these dumbasses. And then listened to it and was like, oh, these dumbasses go hard. All right, I like this. And then I just got hooked on it. And that was immediately the first album that I ever bought by a Kreator. So I had that album for a really long time before I was able to have money to buy anything else. So that's like what I know Kreator as. And then as I obviously got into the metal space more, I know of like Endless Pain and Pleasure to Kill. People just like love those albums. But I've always loved Extreme Aggression. I don't know, just the album cover is so terrible. And that was why I got it. I don't know. I honestly thought when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is a prog album. I bet this is a prog album. These guys are probably stoned out of their minds. They
probably were
lasers going on, and there's going to be a lot of awesome guitar riffs on here, and it's going to be 80s metal, and that is not what it was at all. I was completely shocked.
Yep. The original artwork for that was really cool looking. I don't know why they went with that weird photo. Maybe because they were on Epic now and it was like kind of gory or something. But like, this weird, almost like, I don't know, Sabotage-esque kind of like, what's up with this band photo kind of thing.
Like, honestly, it kind of looks like a Led Zeppelin / Doors album. Like, it almost looks like it could be like a 70s prog, like, or 70s rock album with how that is.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Alan.
Let's see. Kreator is a band I was very late to. Kind of like Destruction. The albums just never crossed my path. Or when I saw them, I always found something else that looked more enticing for the $15 I had to spend.
Man, I couldn't imagine a teenage years without Kreator. That would have been fucking weird. I don't know.
Nobody. I heard a song here and a song there, like on compilations, but no, and it wasn't just me. Like none of my friends in high school had Kreator albums. Nobody I knew in college was into Kreator. So, yeah, it was just one of those weird blank spots on my radar for a long time. Other than, again, Doomsday News tracks and stuff like that. So let's see. First one I finally heard would have been. I'm pretty sure it was Terrible Certainty. And it is definitely not my favorite. I still don't really connect with that album much. I find it a bit dull, just not the Kreator for me.
Good, but transitional.
It is yes. Once I heard everything around, it's like it makes sense as a transitional album. That still doesn't make me like this one though. I agree a lot with Pat. Endless Pain is an album I think is a bit underrated. Yeah, I understand it's it has an amateurish and kind of sloppy sound in a way, but I like that in my German thrash metal these days. So that one is great. But my favorite is undoubtedly Pleasure to Kill. That album, again, it took me like 2 or 3 listens to grok that album. And then like on the 3rd or so listen, when it connected, I was just like, oh, holy shit. This is like Slayer if they were German. Like prime era Slayer if they were German. It really connected hard. And Pleasure to Kill is now one of my favorite thrash albums. Certainly my favorite thrash album I've discovered by an old band where I overlooked it, missed it at the time, but have discovered in recent years. So Terrible Certainty was the first. That was kind of a misfire for me, but Pleasure to Kill gets the top spot. Endless Pain would rank very high for me. And I do like a lot of the newer albums. I know they're a little maybe too melodic for some folks these days, but I still enjoy what they're putting out. It's still heavy, aggressive, catchy, and energetic enough that, like someone, I think it was Angelic, just mentioned like Gods of Violence and stuff. Yeah, a lot of albums from that era are still really, really good. But my first here, definitely not my favorite. See, now I know what Marty's favorite is. I think we all do, but I don't know what his first was. So let's find out.
Let's find out.
Very special Heavy Metallurgy.
This is my first Kreator record, and man, it's real close to being my favorite. This thing today, to this day, the production, there's just so much fire and aggression on this thing. It's just the songs rip you in half from start to finish, and from the album cover, this sick band photo on the back. I mean, the whole thing. I look at this and this is, if you were to get my DNA under a microscope, I'm pretty sure that guy right there is in there holding everything together, except he's a lot fatter now. That's why I say I can't imagine a teenage years without Kreator. I mean, the cassettes were endlessly in every deck in the house. I just couldn't stop. And then this album came up. I followed them right along. And when this thing came out, I looked at this cover. I'm like, what the hell is this cover all about? Not good. Not a good cover. But now I couldn't imagine it any other way, to be honest. And I actually kind of like it now. But this thing came along, and it's still to this day. I have listened to this thing probably 100,000 times, and I'm still not sick of it at all. It feels like the first time I spun it, which is rare. It's rare for an album to stand the test of time as many times you spin it. And I pick it up. I'm like, I want to listen to this. And, this is Kreator becoming more mature. Milla is a little bit more socially and politically aware at this point. But the songs, again, they have a bit slicker production, but it still has a lot of edge and bite to it. And the songs are they're less young guys just bashing it out. There's a little bit more technical ability going on. Their structures are becoming a bit more complex, but God damn it, this album just stands the test of time. And even though that they got the noise / epic treatment, they still represented their early days perfectly. I think it's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's got to be, but Pleasure to Kill is a close second. Close second.
That's fair.
But that leads us to fellow countrymen, Sodom.
All right, Sodom.
Oh, where did he put those demos? He's looking. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, okay. It's not Dennis up here. The first one I heard. So talking about just like growing up and stuff not crossing your path. Kreator was the only classic Teutonic band that I was able to find where I grew up in upstate New York. I never saw Sodom or Destruction, let alone like Tankard or Death Row or anything like that. I only saw Kreator stuff. It was probably because they were on Epic. So I didn't get this. I didn't get Agent Orange by Sodom. That was the first thing I picked up until I want to say I was well into my 20s. And it was my favorite for a long time. It's a damn good thrash record. I love Ausgebumped because it's such a punk song. It's like an Oi song. Oi meets Motorhead. You know, it's awesome. I love that jam. Remember the Fallen.
A lot of Tank influence on that album.
Oh, yeah. Big time. A lot of Tank influence. Right now, though, and this could change at any tomorrow or whatever. Right now, it's probably in the Sign of Evil. Again, just ugly, early, messy German thrash metal stuff. So I'm gonna go with that as my favorite for right now. But it could be anything else. The next, they're all. So many of their records are great. I mean, I love Tapping the Vein. That's a great, brutal.
It's great
thrash record. There's so many good releases, and it's a bootleg, but love that.
That is a weird bootleg. I get it. It makes sense, but it's still weird.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Am I gonna have to hunt this? Wait, what's on the back? Oh, I have. Wait, what the hell?
Yeah, it's Hellhammer on the other side. It's like a
split
record.
Neat.
I thought it was cool, so I snagged it. But
I don't get it, but I need to have that now. I don't get it, but I need to have it. Interesting.
It's on the bootleg label. Too stoned to make sense. Is the name of the label. All right, good one, Melanie.
Yeah, if Aaron hasn't seen it, that's pretty far out there.
Yeah, I've never seen that. That's crazy.
Better than demo. See, I knew you'd come through here, Pat.
Interesting. I got to look up why they made it that way. All right. So the first I ever heard was Tapping the Vein, and that was again because of the album cover. But I didn't like it at all. I remember not liking it, and it just didn't do anything for me. And then when I was in high school, I started getting more into thrash music, and somebody gave me M16 on a burned disc. And I actually enjoyed it, which is funny because it's a later era Sodom album that not too many people often say that they like, I would say. But I really enjoyed it. So I went back and listened to their discography because I had more access to music then, and Napster and LimeWire were in my life. And Persecution Mana I've often said is my second all-time favorite thrash album. I love that album. I'd never get sick of it. And I wish they would do a solid reissue of that as well, because I only have a bootleg of that on CD. But I absolutely love the Iron Fist cover that they did, the Motorhead cover on that album, because I'm a huge Motorhead fan. Probably something people don't know. I love Motorhead, and when I heard that, I was like, okay, I actually quite like this cover a lot. I just love that album so much. From Nuclear Winter, which is just by far one of the best opening tracks in my opinion. So good. That album is just so good. So yeah, I pretty much like most of Sodom's discography. I'm one of the few people that you'll probably hear say that. But those first three albums, including the weird bootleg that Pat held up in the Sign of Evil EP, are some of the best music ever put out, metal music ever put out. Sodom is, again, similar to Sepultura. Those first several albums are just so iconic and legendary, especially in my so meaningful in my life as well.
All right.
Germany. Yeah, Germany's the best.
Yep.
Ich bin ein Headbanger. That's all I have to say about that. Let's see. For Sodom, first one was definitely Persecution Mania, because I found it on a used cassette tape at a flea market, and it was very clear the person selling the tapes had bought it because they thought it was a Christian band based on the name being biblical. Because all the cassette tapes they had, were Christian bands, except for a few random metal bands, and you could tell that, the whole pattern was it was all supposed to be Christian music, but they had accidentally bought a few non-Christian albums, like Persecution Mania. So, first one I heard, and it is my favorite. I do like all the early Sodom stuff a lot too. Obsessed by Cruelty is an album I have a big soft spot for. Yes, it is another very sloppy, raw mess at times, but I can absolutely dig that for early Sodom. Later Sodom I'm a little hit or miss on. It's a catalog. I also don't know everything by the band. I have a bunch of them, but I don't have all of them. So I can't speak for the whole catalog here, but early Sodom is my Sodom. And Persecution Mania was the first, and it is still definitely my favorite. And yes, I'm with Melanie too, that the Iron Fist cover it's perfect for that album, because that's kind of the sound they're going for at that point in time. So it's a fun cover. They do a good job with it, but it also very much fits with what they're doing on the album. It doesn't feel like it's out of place, really. So for all those reasons, both the cover song and the album get a big thumbs up.
Yeah, and they put it like third or fourth.
I think it's track 3. Yeah,
that's my complaint with the cover. It's a good cover. It would have made more sense at the end of the album. That way, going into Agent Orange, which is a little bit more Motorhead / Tank / Oi, whatever. It that would have made more sense. I don't like they fucked with the flow of the album with the Motorhead.
I never really had an issue with the flow, but I always found it interesting that they put it like at that spot, because a lot of times stuff like that comes at the end of the album. Yeah. So they must have really wanted people to listen to it. Yeah. That's probably why they did it.
Same here. It is kind of weird that they put it so early on the album, but like Melanie said, it doesn't bother me there. I don't feel like it messed up the flow, but that's just personal preference.
All right.
All right, Marty. Sodom.
For me, which we will get into when we finally do the Sodom ranking with Jurgen and probably Devin. Sodom, moving past the glory days, it all depended if I liked the album, depending on Tom's voice. If he was doing kind of like the hardcore type of yelling thing, it's fine, it works, but I prefer when he is doing that, nasty, gravelly barking style, which this is my first Sodom album, Persecution Mania, and this remains my favorite to this day. And this, in a lot of ways, is a transitional album as well. It basically, they retain the evil, there's it's still an evil essence clinging to the songs on here, songs like Christ's Passion and just the whole second side, very, very evil sounding. And the songs are just so hard hitting, and Tom's voice is just so ugly and evil. Yet they're emerging from the early Sodom, which was very evil and kind of cluttered at times in their performance and the way they constructed songs. Still awesome. I'm not bitching, but here they kind of cleaned it up. Their songs are a little bit more thrashy. I mean, if that makes any sense. Before they, Agent Orange, they went a little bit further with it. But to me, this album, again, this is another one of those albums I put on, and I just, other than the Motorhead cover, the only complaint there is the placement. I wish it was at the end. Then I can choose whether I want to listen to it or not. It's cool. It makes sense, especially in the direction they took on the album after this one. But Persecution Mania, eternal classic. One day I will stumble across the vinyl, and it will be $15.
Yeah,
and it'll be in mint condition, probably still in the shrink, unopened, and it'll be a great day for sure.
Don't
Dear
tell anybody
Santa.
Dear Santa.
Don't ever tell anybody that you found it that way, though, because
I'm telling them. shouting it from the mountaintops if I do.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we're going down to Florida with Cannibal Corpse. Oh, wrong one.
I was saying,
Hey,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm looking anyway.
I gave Pat a minute to dig.
Okay. So this just got reissued, and the version that I had pre-ordered on Amazon.com had the original logo. This crap arrived at my door. A little disappointing, but this is the first one I heard. Eaten Back to Life, the debut.
I'm surprised you don't have the bootleg that came with that on one side and Watchtower on the other. I mean,
Watchtower. The Scatterbrain Cannibal Corpse split. Anyways,
here comes trouble.
The manufacturing that would definitely require some energetic disassembly.
Yes, indeed.
Oh.
See what you did there.
So yeah, I believe so. I had a buddy who I just released. Actually, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I just released his latest recording of his project, Time Under Earth. But he was my oldest friend in metal, Matt. If he's watching, shout out. But he dubbed me tons of stuff. He had access to the Camelot music in his nearby mall, and I did not. So he got better death metal than I did, and he taped me tons of stuff. And I believe it was Baphomet's Dead Shall Inherit on one side with Cannibal Corpse Eaten Back to Life on the other for the dub, if I'm remembering right. He definitely taped me both of those. He also taped me Eaten Back to Life around the same time. This left way more of an impression because there's still kind of somewhat rooted in thrash. You can hear a lot of like crossover, I feel like, on this, like Cryptic Slaughter and
very thrashy.
Accused.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you listen to the demo, Barnes's vocals aren't really growly at all, and they're getting there on this, but they're not really pushing the limits of like what was guttural at the time. And again, this is kind of a toss-up between this and The Bleeding. I feel like they're the most easy to listen to Cannibal Corpse records.
Yep.
But I'll probably pick this for my favorite. You know, I'm not like a huge Cannibal Corpse maniac, but I really love this record, especially the song Put Them to Death. Oh my God. Skull Full of Maggots, of course, you know, Shredded Humans, Born in a Casket. It's just endless bangers on this. But yeah, I'll go with this as my favorite. It's the first one I heard. So
Okay.
All right. Melanie.
So the first I ever heard was Tomb of the Mutilated. And that was because of Hammer Smash Face. I got the single of Hammer Smash Face.
Oh, yeah.
And when I got Tomb of the Mutilated, I begged my mom, please buy this for me. And when she saw the album cover, she was like, absolutely not. And you're going to confession tomorrow.
Why? I want the t-shirt, Mom.
You're going to confession tomorrow. I don't know what this is. She was so upset. And then finally I got old enough. I had a job and I was able to buy my own stuff. And I got Eaten Back to Life. And that has always been my favorite Cannibal Corpse album as well. So it was not the first album I heard, but Eaten Back to Life has always been my favorite for a lot of the reasons. I think Chris Barnes obviously sounds the best on that album. The musicality, the lyrical content, everything that Cannibal Corpse had on the album, I've always really thought was almost like revolutionary, I guess you could say, in the death metal scene. But I do love The Bleeding too, which is funny because the first Chris Barnes, last Chris Barnes album, I love the brutality. The brutality of The Bleeding is so good too. Lyrical content's awful. And I tend to just ignore it. Yeah, it's all right. I'm not a feminist. Don't get mad at me. But I love Eaten Back to Life. That's like number 2 favorite death metal album of mine. So I always love that album. I think that hit me the most, but I'm also one of those people that pretty much loves like every Cannibal Corpse album because I'm such a huge fan. Like even Corpse Grinder era, like Gallery of Suicide is probably my favorite Corpse Grinder album. So if I had to break it up in 2 different eras, Eaten Back to Life and then Gallery of Suicide.
All right. Alan.
Okay. This one I'm going to have to take a pass on.
I
have only ever sat through 2 entire Cannibal Corpse albums. I mean, I've heard songs from others here and there, but my first one was, Eaten Back to Life. but having only heard 2 albums out of a very long discography, it doesn't make sense for me to pick a favorite, really. Just was never quite the band for me. So I will just have to sit this round out. So won't delay it. Let's go on to Marty and get his input on Cannibal Corpse here.
Yep, this is the first one I heard, Eaten Back to Life. A buddy bought it and dubbed me a copy of it on Maxell XL290, the good old workhorse of the tape trading world. Or the TDK UR90s are also a favorite as well. But yeah, the Eaten Back to Life, this thing is at the time really kind of blew me away. Again, I was kind of getting into death metal a bit more, and like Pat said, there was a bit of a crossover / thrash presence here, and the songs are super catchy. And of course, Skull Full of Maggots, that whole maggots part. Oh, it's so good. Still to this day, it's great. But then Butcher to Birth comes out. Very much into this one. Butcher to Birth, I still don't love that record. That record, it hit me. I even had a t-shirt for it, a blue grape t-shirt, which I felt very uncomfortable leaving the house wearing. Yeah. I felt very uncomfortable. That artwork and the feet up. We'll come back to your story. The fetus, on the back. And I've always felt I had to wear it in my members only jacket to get it out of the house. Cause I felt, but then this album, I know this is Eaten Back to Life, also enjoyable, but this album here, I'm with Melanie, very brutal, but the songs are so freaking catchy. This is one of those, whenever I'm going to listen to Cannibal Corpse, which is not very often, I hate to admit that, but I'm kind of over it. But on the same token, when I am in the mood for it, this is going in the van for sure. This album is so catchy. Songs are so well written. Barnes sounds great on it. This is my favorite Cannibal Corpse. And the, Corpse Grinder years, a lot of great shit. I've got most of their albums that I've acquired over the years, and I listened to them once. I'm like, yeah, this is good, but they never come off the shelf again. But what's your story, Pat?
Oh, so I'm just thinking about the shirt thing and just that whole era of each album came out with the Vincent Locke artwork, and each album raised the bar as far as offensiveness goes until they got to the bleeding, and it was like, here's some flesh, I guess. But like when Tomb of the Mutilated came out, everybody was like, holy shit, that is really beyond the pale. And one of my friends in high school, this dude John, he came over for dinner at this is when I was living with my dad, who was pretty conservative. Like, he found my Body Count tape and my Carnivore tape. Talk about duality of man right there.
Which Carnivore? Which Carnivore? Retaliation, I hope.
Retaliation.
I love that album.
I left them out on my desk. He went in my room and read the lyrics to both and freaked out and dubbed over them with silence, so I couldn't have them anymore. Real dick move. God rest his soul. R.I.P. Mike Wilding. Anyways, this guy John came to my house with a mutilated long sleeve on for dinner, and my dad, I could tell he was just like, I'm not going to even recognize what that is. He just stared straight ahead and like, good. And John was very polite. He was just like, whatever. And he was just like, nice to meet you, son. Like, try not to look at him.
That's funny.
All right, moving on.
All right. That brings us to Morbid Angel. Pat, you're up.
Okay. Got that right here. At a certain point, I stopped pulling the ones of like my favorites and just had the ones that I first heard. So I have this in the archives, but I have my favorite in the archives. But the first one I heard by Morbid Angel was Altars of Madness. Like a lot of people in the early 90s, I picked up the Grind Crusher compilation. I think Chapel of Ghouls is the first track on it, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And yeah, I mean, this blew me away. It's great. I friggin' love this. I love everything up to Domination. But my favorite's Covenant. That's probably going to be my pick. But regardless, Altars of Madness does friggin' rule. It just has the third album just has a little bit more variation to me. I love God of Emptiness, despite the fact that Beavis and Butthead made fun of it. The The bellowing vocals reminded me of Cathedral. I think that's why I liked it. I was a big fan of Forest. But them that is really funny. Oh God. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Yeah, so my favorite's Covenant, but I love Altars of Madness. I mean, it's probably my second favorite. So.
All right.
People have had some awkward moments with Dying Fetus. I can't remember who, but at some point somebody was working with like a promotional company. And I mean, remember reading an interview with them that they were coming into the office to, talk over, I don't know if it was a record deal or just promotional stuff. And so somebody in the office had the brilliant idea. They went down to the main lobby and put this big banner over the elevator that says, so-and-so Productions welcomes Dying Fetus.
Oh, that was Sirius XM.
Oh, that's okay.
Ian Christie was telling us that story.
It was
when he
Ian's
was on.
story. Okay, yeah, I could not think of who told us that. But yeah, that was just like another one, just like, wow, that caused some weird, awkward conversations throughout the day.
Yeah,
I have such a bad story about a Dying Fetus shirt. One
Would
of
you
my
like to share?
One of my friends had. God, this is so bad. One of my friends had a miscarriage, unfortunately. So
already hilarious.
Yeah, we went and visited her after she came home from the hospital that day, and I had a fucking Dying Fetus shirt on.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh,
not like
no.
thinking at all, because I just wear metal shirts all the time, and she
Oh,
knows me
no.
really well. And we got in the car, and my wife looked at me, and she was like, "I didn't catch it when we walked out the door, but I can't. Are you kidding me right now?"
Oh my God.
And I was like, I didn't realize. It was bad. It was
Oh,
Melanie,
that's fucking
please
bad.
tell me that you were able to save the day because you had your members only jacket in the car.
No, unfortunately, I live in Florida. I don't wear jackets.
Oh, no members only jackets.
I
Lisa,
messaged her. I messaged her. I was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I didn't even notice it until you said something. Okay.
I also know a guy who went to a wake like last minute, like went to a wake of somebody he barely even knew to like meet up with somebody, and was like, I'll throw a long sleeve on to cover up my tattoos, because at the time people gave a shit more about tattoos. It was a dead guy long sleeve that he went to this wake. So similar kind of scenario.
Oh,
We all have those moments. I mean, I had a Butchered at Birth shirt on when I picked up my son from pre-K one time.
well, at least you weren't wearing that to the yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
We all have those moments. Now I have a nice solid colored t-shirt wardrobe that I put on for when I know I'm leaving the house and I'm going to be in civilization.
The Merriam and Barium shirts. I've
Yes.
got one or two in
Yep.
the closet that may or may not fit me. Probably don't.
Yeah, I remember Ken over at Ken's Death Metal Crypt had a similar funny story. I think he was doing work for his company. He worked with like an engineering firm, and they had been sent to like okay, here's the client. They need you to go hook up or install something. The detail didn't matter, but it was like it was basically like kind of like a convent, and he wasn't thinking about it. It was kind of like they were staying like an extra day. He hadn't packed like extra clothes. The clothes he had packed for the last day were just like travel home clothes or something. And I'm pretty sure he said he had a nun slaughter shirt on when he went back the next day.
He did.
It didn't connect until he was like getting out of the car. And one of the guys was like, "Dude," and so we had to like take it off and wear it inside out.
Yep.
We've
All
all
right.
been there.
Melanie, Morbid Angel.
All right. So probably something I've never ever said ever. I think Morbid Angel is so overrated. Like I like their obviously Altars of Madness is the first album I ever heard, and it's the only Morbid Angel album that I give a fuck about. Like I really do not care about any of their other albums like at all. I like them. I listen to them. I own them. Like I own Domination and Covenant and Abominations of Desolation. But Altars of Madness is the only one I listen to. Like that's it. Like after that, I don't really care too much for anything else that they've ever put out. It's like nothing else matters to me. So this is first Altars of Madness, the only album I care about. Like I said, I own a lot of their other albums, but I can honestly tell you I don't remember the last time I listened to them. It's been years. Earache put out a bunch of reissues like 3 or 4 years ago, and I bought them. And I'm pretty sure one of them is probably still in the shrink. I'm pretty sure. I think Covenant might still be in it, or maybe Heretic. I don't remember which one. But yeah. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say about that band. I can't stand them now. Anything that they have to do now in modern days, I'm like, please just stop. Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Stop. Just stop.
You can almost hear the people unsubscribing from your channel right now. It's like someone turned on a commercial fan, and it's like blowing away your subscribers. What do you say? You were at 8,000? Sorry.
No, I'm not at 8,000. But I mean, hey, I still like Altars of Madness. Like that's like if I came out and said fuck that album, then people would be like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like Blessed Are the Sick. I think that's probably the other one that I listen to a lot. But it just, I don't know. I just never really dove too deep into their discography, which I'm glad I didn't, because I've heard there's some quite awful albums after Heretic. So, but yeah.
Elude is
pretty bad. Yeah.
Elude is one of those things you really do have to hear it once just to fully appreciate all the crap talk about the album.
Yeah,
it really is in that category of you do have to hear it once, even though you're not going to like it.
Yeah, I've considered doing a view baiting video where I listen to it and react to it for the first time ever.
That would be funny. Melanie reacts.
So I'm gonna have to demonetize myself from it though, because I don't think I'll be able to.
I can see the title of the video. Jazz fan hears Morbid Angel for the first time.
There you go.
All right, Alan, Morbid Angel.
Somebody asked Melanie, "Are you morbid?" And she said, "No."
Make mine Megadeth. Make mine Megadeth. Yeah.
Oh God.
We're getting there. I will say I will at least offer some defense for Kingdoms of Disdain. It is not their best album, but it's not a horrible album either. It's different, but it's not different in a bad way.
Could have been better if the production was different.
Production doesn't help it, but I think they were going for something that was meant to have like a real muddy, kind of sludgy feel to it. So maybe it was the production for the album. I'm not sure. Anyway, I did want to say that that album will get a passing grade. So and cheers to S. Craig Zoller for encouraging me to go back and double check that one, because I didn't like it at first very much. He's like, you ought to give that one another chance. It's not really that bad. I'm like, okay, I'll try it again. He's right, as he often is. Anyway,
not always, but most of the time.
I said often. No. There are lots of
right.
Craig and I, it's very much a case of we either agree completely on a given album or we completely disagree. There is very little in between. It's either like we both love it, we both hate it, or one of us likes it and the other one can't stand it. But anyway, Morbid Angel, my first was different. My first was, again, Blessed Are the Sick. Just at my age, we all missed Altars of Madness when it came out. We weren't quite into that stuff yet, but we were the right age to pick up Blessed Are the Sick when it came out. And that is, spoiler alert, keep it short. Yeah, that is my favorite Morbid Angel album and one of my favorite death metal albums. I have always really, really dug that one. I understand Altars is great too. Altars is probably second favorite. I'm not almost certainly second favorite, but it's something, just the overall sound with Blessed. You get different weird song structures and compositions. I really like Sandoval's performance on it. It's really morbid, sounding really twisted and weird. Whereas Altars is great, but it feels just a little more straightforward death metal. Done really great, but Blessed is just, I feel like has more personality. So my first and definitely my favorite. Morbid Angel is a band I do like a lot. And yes, there are some albums I don't care for, but I think it was maybe Cap said it earlier. They have some bad albums, but the good albums are really, really good. So that would be my take. If someone asks me if I am morbid, I would say yes. And now let's see what Marty has to say about all this.
Well, Morbid Angel are one of those rare instances where I saw the band live during this era before I even heard them. It was Michigan Death Fest 1, and Morbid
Cool
Angel
flex.
was the headline. Yeah. Morbid Angel was the headliner, and they came out and played stuff off Altars of Madness, and shortly thereafter I was in Grand Rapids and found this, snatched it up very quickly. This album is hey Mike, thanks a bunch for that, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, cheers, Mike. Great to have you in the chat tonight.
Good to see you back. He was on a vacation there for a while.
I'd been meaning to ask you where Mike had been.
Yep.
Hope
you all would know these things if you would join the Discord server. Link in the description. We have a lot of fun.
I wish I had the time to Discord with y'all. I really do. Man,
well, I wasn't saying that to you. I was saying that to people in general. I know.
I'm saying I'm missing out by not doing it. Don't do what Dr. Allen does. Do what Marty did. That wasn't confusing at all.
But this album really is. I love this record, but is it my favorite?
I want to say yes. I want to guess. I'm going to guess and say yes.
Hear me out.
Fair.
Stop it.
I kid.
You're funny.
That's
you're
hot.
funny.
Why do you own that?
Well, you own it.
Yeah,
you do own it. Wait a minute. Wait, why?
I bought it when it came out. David Vincent returning Morbid Angel. You don't think I was excited about that? Hell, this was going to be amazing.
What year did that come out, Marty? What year?
Fuck.
2008.
2008. Okay, so
11.
I understand.
Oh.
You're
That's way off. Okay, never mind.
I don't know. It's Roman numerals. MMX. Yeah.
Chat, help us out here. What year did the I album come out? Someone in the chat knows.
Anyway, go ahead.
I got no clue.
What were you going to say?
I can't continue until somebody gives me the year.
Oh, well, yeah, I bought this. The return. This is going to be amazing. Well, it wasn't. It was someone shit all over. Pat's Pitbull came in the past, came and took a big devil-sized dog dump in my Wheaties bowl when I heard this for the first time.
Hyper. Yeah, 2011. Sorry, I don't know. I was thinking.
Yep. Yeah, I can read Roman numerals past 6.
Okay, so I do completely understand why you bought it in 2011. That's a very good point. Return of David Vincent. Everybody was hyped. That's fair. I'm not faulting you for having bought it. I'm questioning why 14 years later you still have it.
Yeah.
Because they have to have the whole run, man. You know how this
have
works.
14 years to trade it in for something else. Give it to somebody as VCLT. Play frisbee with
Who would I give this to? Here, have this
Put
shitty
your
record
beer on top of it.
Yeah.
Use it to, scrape, frozen boogers off, the bottom of a desk when you're sitting in a parent-teacher conference. It could be put to use, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Coaster.
No.
It's a good coaster.
Anyway, this is my favorite. And the first 4 are classic. Love them. I even love Gateways to Annihilation. I think that's a really, really good album too. But
it is. Absolutely.
This here is absolutely, they really evolved past the demo, their demo CD they put out with Vincent, with Mike Browning on vocals. I can't remember the goddamn name of it. Abominations of Desolation. I like it, but I don't love it. I think they really, I think David Vincent is a far more charismatic frontman and a great singer. And these songs are just so well oiled and tightened up and just perfect from start to finish. There's no weird intros or any of that stuff. Blessed of Their Sick has a weird production, a very warm and weird production. I still love it, but all the intros in between do get a bit fatiguing. But this here, absolute classic. Usually Morbid Angel, this or Covenant are the two I spin the most these days. But yeah.
Tony has that's an interesting pair, Tony.
Chameleon all day long. Chameleon rules.
Chameleon, huh? That's Alan's favorite album.
I don't know if I'd say rules, but I enjoy it more than I did when it came out. Well, when I got it.
It's interesting, Tony, because yes, obviously both albums are bad. Both albums have a few songs that are passable on them. Like no tracks that you're going to pick for,
Blades for Ball is a good song. That's a good song.
There are a couple of songs on Chameleons that are okay. I think when we did the playthrough, when we got to 5,000 subs and I was forced to listen to it, I think 4 of the 12 tracks I did not condemn. And I have a feeling Iliad was about the same. Iliad maybe has like 3 tracks where you're like, I can live with that one.
Like Radicult.
Maybe not that one. No.
Too extreme. Too extreme. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but there are a few tracks on Iliad, all joking aside, that are okay.
They're just
it wasn't
standard
like,
like
was,
Morbid Angel.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not like amazing tracks, but it's like, okay, here's a track that's not terrible. Here's a track that's average. You find a couple of those on a lot of the really bad albums do have that when you stop and think about it. Cold Lake has a couple of songs, that's like, hey, this is passable. The rest, a lot of the albums not, but give them credit where it's due. Cherry Orchards is, usually one people will pick as like, it's funny, but it actually isn't that bad a song.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tony, I don't know. I really don't know. My brain is working on it. I might get back to you later in the evening, Tony.
Good singing.
Tony likes
music.
putting me on the spot with weird questions. It's cool.
I think Chameleon's
It's
probably
Tony comes up with good ones.
All right, Pat, we're going to swing into Metallica.
Okay. So, first one I heard, it was like a year or two after it came out. I remember seeing the video for one, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Metallica, Agfa. Definitely not my favorite. I loved it. Listened to the crap out of it when I was.
Oh yeah.
It was the summer between 5th and 6th grade that was one of the first things, the heavy things I ever heard. I was very young. Just listened to it into the ground. And then I discovered the other albums, that preceded it. And I was like, okay, it's like the Toy Story meme. Like, I don't need you anymore. But I still like a lot of the songs on this and everything. It's just not my favorite. Nobody ever, I didn't even realize until somebody pointed it out years and years later about the lack of bass thing, just because it just didn't click with me when I was a little kid, because it was just like this overwhelming wall of noise,
Black and rips. What a way to start the album off. That song just rips.
Yeah. There's some great music on it. And I think the song length and everything, I think they keep it interesting the whole time. I just would rather listen to any of the other ones before that one. Not to say that it's a bad record by any stretch of the imagination. And one of my favorite albums of anything, like probably in my top 10 of all time, is Kill 'Em All. I love Kill 'Em All. Love Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, of course, but Kill 'Em All is one of those evergreen records. Like, I never get sick of it. I find with the Big Four, all their debuts are all my favorites by each band. Just that kind of like snotty, there's obviously big new wave of British heavy metal thing going on. A lot of Motorhead, a lot of Discharge kind of influence. I friggin' love this. When I did play guitar, I took guitar lessons in high school. I learned how to play Motor Breath and Whiplash, and just, I love just the teenage like attitude of this. My friend referred to this as the acne years, But yeah, I love
Pop
the young
them all.
And I tracked down all the lots of bootlegs from this era and everything, and the No Life to Leather demo, and the Ron McGovney's Garage demo and all that stuff. Like, I love this era of Metallica, so this is my favorite.
Do you have a bootleg that has Night Ranger on the flip side?
No, but I do have it's not a bootleg, but it has the Jump in the Fire EP and the Creeping Death EP on the other side. That's official.
That'll work. So. I mean, it's no Sister Christian, but it'll work.
Oh, the time is come. Mower and Melanie.
I'm so glad you picked up that ball and ran with it, Marty. I'm so glad.
I didn't get to my delay here. Well, hold on one second.
Wait, is this a Funko Pop?
Mower and there we go.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
We have technology over here.
Nice. So I have a Lady Justice Funko Pop.
This is the first thing she heard was a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I've never seen that.
It's a fancy one.
So my kids got me this for my birthday a year ago, my 40th birthday. No,
That's cool.
a couple years ago actually.
But do you have a heavy
Um,
Metallurgy Funko Pop?
No, but
Not
I
many
can make
people do.
it.
Not many people do. There's 2 of them that exist.
Oh, so this was the
It's
first
because she's
Metallica
not
album.
morbid, Marty.
You should
Hey.
go grab that so she can see it, Alan.
Listen,
That's what I don't
do
have
you
it
really-
handy.
Do you really have a Funko Pop?
Uno momento, por favor.
Oh, I'm about to get pissed that I don't have one, guys. I have a whole entire freaking wall of them over here, and you don't send me one? What
Oh,
the
wow.
hell? How did you get that?
My
Well, you
wife
know.
had them custom made for both Marty and me as Father's Day presents this year.
Damn, Alan, you have the best wife in the world.
Yeah, she's
I
fucking
absolutely
awesome.
do.
Yeah.
I need to go brag about her now and see how much that gets me. It's not gonna get me anywhere. I can probably guarantee that.
That's
Yep.
fucking,
And this was completely Melissa's idea. I had nothing to do with the plan. She just came to me. She had it completely designed, all that. She's like, but I want to order you and Marty something, but I want to just run it by you beforehand just to make sure I'm not like completely insane. Is this cool?
Wow.
And she showed me like, how she had mocked it up and just like, I had no idea you could custom order Funkos. That's amazing.
that's amazing.
That is
yeah.
incredible.
So, yeah.
I would
Marty's
I would,
got a little guitar in his hand.
I would buy the shit out of that.
I wish I was
Got a
that
little
skinny.
microphone over there.
That is
Awesome.
awesome. Well, I collect these, and they have music ones. I have Iron Maiden and Kiss. Actually, Marty, I have all the Kiss ones. You would like
Nice.
those.
Oh yeah.
So my kids got me this because this is the first Injustice for All. It's the first Metallica album I ever heard. I wear the shirt. Like I still have the shirt the first time I ever got it in my teenage years. It's so beat to shit. I credit it to be my favorite Metallica album, but I go back and forth between Ride the Lightning too because I love that album so much. It depends on the day. I can honestly say it's this one right now for sentimental value. But yeah,
Very
so I
cool.
pulled this off. Yeah, I didn't even know they made these. Of course, they also make the band members, but it's got Robert as one of them, and I kind of was like, I'm good with just this. I don't need those guys in there. So yeah. But yeah, I think Injustice for All. Like I said, it depends on the day. Metallica, I love the first like 4 albums, like everybody else, but this one I tend to listen to probably the most, just because it's the first one I ever heard. There's that sentimental value, and I never really thought anything about the bass line either until I got into the YouTube space and heard of that, and I was like, I guess I never really noticed. I never really thought about that. It's never. Now it's all I can hear. So I'm like, God damn it, you guys ruined this for me.
We're gonna talk about did you mention what your favorites were? Because I was
Oh yeah,
reading the
yeah.
chat. Sorry.
It's definitely
Okay.
this. Yeah, definitely Justice for All. Like I said, at a different day it might be Ride the Lightning, but for now it's this. I'm gonna say that.
Sometimes when I read, I can't listen. Apparently, my wife has
Yeah,
told me for many
wow.
years I can't listen, and I guess she's right.
There's
Anyway.
there's medication for that, you know.
Yeah, it used to be alcohol, but I don't drink anymore, so I'm a little more
this is-
less focused.
Well, now it's an awkward time for me to shout out to Flora Fonta Brewery, who I got this really, really good beer from. My buddy works there, and they get free samples. Anytime like a can has like a weird little ding on it, they won't sell it. They just give it to employees. But yeah, this is it's a West Coast Pilsner. I have
I
no
love
idea what the hell
Pilsners.
that means, but it's actually really tasty.
Pilsners are good. I am a very classic, fancy white bitch tonight with my White Claw.
Hey, we call those iron claws here in this
Iron claws,
man
okay.
cave.
And these are left over from my son's 10th birthday pool party that he had last weekend. This is what
He couldn't finish them, so he gave them to you.
No. I bought a bunch of alcohol for the adults of the party, and this is what was left over. So now I'm trying to get rid of them.
I am taking a month off of booze, so this is non-alcoholic Notch IPA.
You know they make a THC like non-alcoholic beers now too.
No, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Don't talk about.
He's got the non-THC beer bong out in the back.
Patrick doth protest too much.
I don't even know what THC is. Never heard of it. Sleep plays in the background.
The History Channel sells beer? I had no idea.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, goodness. All right, let's get back on the road here. Straight ahead. Focus. Metallica. And Justice for All was the first one I got. It was the first bona fide heavy metal album I ever bought. So, yeah, it was kind of the first of anything. It never has been my favorite. Yes, there's a lot of songs on it that are good, but as an album, I always thought it was way too long, and the production always bothered me. The copy I bought was a bootleg cassette tape at a flea market. And I honestly thought I had just bought like a really shitty bootleg. So you take your chances, but I'm a dumb kid. I'm poor. It was $5. I'm like, sure, I'll pick it up for $5. I put it in the Walkman player. I'm just like, oh shit. It's a really crappy job on bootlegging it. And then later I realized like, no, that's actually what it's supposed to sound like. So that album never worked for me. Favorite show. Let's just say it's not Injustice for All. I don't know what my favorite Metallica album is right now off the top of my head. It has rotated between all three of the first three albums. There have been times where Master of Puppets was my favorite. There have been times when Ride the Lightning was my favorite. There have been times when Kill 'Em All is my favorite. Those three albums are absolutely formative in my early years of listening to heavy metal. And Justice for All, I still revisit it from time to time. I still have a copy. I last recently got a copy where they had somebody had added the bass sound back into it. There are bootlegs you can get that's usually called something like Injustice for Jason, and it does sound better that way, in my opinion. But yes, my first here is definitely not my favorite. So I will kind of wimp out on picking a favorite and just pass over to Marty.
All right. Well, my first was Ride the Lightning. I remember the first time my friend Scott played it. I hated it. Fight Fire with Fire. Those guys like yelling, and I was Kiss and traditional metal and stuff like that. But it was 3 or 4 days later. Yeah, I ended up drinking the Kool-Aid, and there is no understating. This is like Kreator. I don't know if it wasn't for Metallica. I mean, I will always give this band a chance, and I'll always kind of give them a pass on some things because they're still a great live band, and I like Death Magnetic and a few songs on the newest one and a couple on the album before it. They still have it in them a little bit, but not as like this. Anyway, Ride the Lightning was the first I ever heard. I think as of today, Master Puppets might be my favorite.
Okay, that's right.
The songs, there's a couple that are a bit longer, a little bit more long-winded in spots, but I just cannot. These two albums and Kill 'Em All, I've just spun them so many times, and when Injustice came out, I had to really work at liking it. I ended up really liking it, but I had to spin it a lot, and it wasn't the instant love like it was with Master of Puppets. And it's funny because my kid is getting into this stuff too. So I don't know, a while ago, we had to do some errands. He brought his CD, his Walmart copy in the van. And other than the sound being really weird, the first like 3 minutes of the album, you have to kind of acclimate to the fact that it sounds like all the air was sucked out of the room by a giant Cryovac machine is what the production feels like to me. But by the time we got to the end of the album, I'm like, this doesn't bother me like it used to. I think I've kind of come around on it a bit. There's some good stuff on it. There's some long-winded shit on it, but I don't know. It's gotten a bit better for me over the years. But yeah, I think as of today, Master Puppets for sure. And next up on our list, I hate to say it, Dave, but you're following Metallica again. We're up with Megadeth.
Always a bridesmaid.
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Yep.
I'm going pee. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back. This is where I take a break from the stream.
We'll catch you on the next round, Melanie.
I don't think I grabbed a copy of Killing Is My Business. That's my favorite. The first one I heard was So Far So Good So What. I actually bought it the same day I bought Ride the Lightning. I bought them both on vinyl, which at the time had just phased out of like chain stores, and I thought vinyl sucked because it wasn't as clear sounding as CDs. And I had a terrible record player with like a ceramic needle, you know. And I remember putting them both on and being like, I hate vinyl, which is so funny. So ironic. And also, I don't know if I can can we share screen on this or not? I don't want to go to too much trouble.
Yeah, you have to go to the present or invite key down below the window there.
Let me see if I can get my mouse to appear here. It's here we go. Present. Oh, present. There we go.
Click that, then you have to go to share screen.
Okay, I got image file here. I don't even know if this is really worth the effort. It's my assorted crap folder.
I'm hoping it's a bootleg with a Nancy Sinatra album on the flip side.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't find it right. I don't want to bore everybody in the chat too much. I got a thrash metal compilation where the cover was like a skeleton guy playing like a warlock guitar, and it had like the first side was all the hits. It had Evil Has No Boundaries by Slayer, Hook and Mouth by Megadeth, Brainwash by Nuclear Assault, Caught in a Mosh by Anthrax, and one more that's escaping me right now. And then the other side had like Sabotage and Lizzie Borden and the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. So it was a little uneven. Like side B wasn't really thrash metal, you know. But that was my introduction to thrash metal in general. I got that around the same time I got Injustice for All. So far so good. So what? I do like this record. I like it even more knowing. There we go. Alan's
is that it?
Got it right there. That is exactly it. Yes, I bought it at a drugstore.
That is
I bought it at a truck stop.
Yeah.
Nice.
Classic.
So that was my introduction to thrash, and then I picked up this like a few years later. I love Hook and Mouth, that song about the PMRC. Awesome. Yep. The whole thing is just like there's so much like weird drug-addled darkness to this that I adore. I think it's great. I really like Killing Is My Business because Dave is clearly so pissed and has such an agenda. And, you know, I some days I prefer the mechanics of Four Horsemen, depending on my mood. And just like that's still like kind of rooted in early heavy metal and, you know, fusing it with punk, like inventing thrash metal kind of thing. Dave's technical prowess. It's weird because it's oddly kind of bluesy, a lot of the riffs, but they're like a million miles an hour, you know? I love like his kind of molten riffing and leads and everything. So my pick is the debut, but this was my first. And this was all while not Coma's Souls. Why am I brain farting on the fourth album?
Rust in Peace.
Rust in Peace. Thank you. I was thinking Tornado of Souls. That's what was messing me up. That was all around when Rust in Peace had come out. So I was hearing that like other places and seeing the music videos. I didn't catch up to that one a little bit later. I mean, I think Rust in Peace is probably the most furious and the fastest, most technical and everything, but it's a little too clean to be one of my favorites. I still like it a lot though.
I still can't believe that album came out before Rust in Peace. It's just such an upgrade on Rust for me anyway. I just can't believe it. Hi, Melanie.
It's okay to pass on around, Melanie.
You can pass. Are you passing?
I have nothing to add to this conversation. Somebody find me instrumental Megadeth album, and then maybe we'll talk.
Right on.
Fair.
All right, Alan.
Yeah, the vocals are a big stumbling block for sure.
Can be for a lot of folks, yeah. Do you want to say a big cheers to everyone in the chat? Folks seem to be having a lot of fun with the topic, posting answers to the questions themselves. It's really cool seeing what everybody's picking and what everybody's first was. So thanks to everybody for participating. Get as many comments on screen as we can. Megadeth for me, I am pretty sure my first one was So Far So Good So What. And yeah, I understand the problems with the album. It has its weaknesses for sure. I don't hate it as much as many people hate it. Maybe some of that is nostalgia. Like Pat said, Hook and Mouth is a good song. Side B has some decent tracks on it. Side A is a bit of a train wreck. Absolutely. So it's not my favorite. My favorite, as great as Rust in Peace is, my favorite will always be Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? That album with the original lineup is, just spectacular. There's like one, the cover song on it is one that, is a little like, but Megadeth was never known for their cover songs. Almost everything else about that album is fantastic, and I've loved it since the first time I got it. I think, trying to remember, and I might be wrong about this, I think I got Peace Sells and Rust in Peace at the exact same time. I think I got both those cassettes on the same day. But small chance I'm off on that. But whether that's true or not, Peace Sells is still edges out just a hair. I understand, and I would never argue that Rust in Peace is the superior album technically. But there's something about the looseness and the compositions on Peace Sells. Absolutely love it. So first, not the favorite here.
All right. Well, my first was Peace Sells. Got this in a Camelot bargain bin back in the day. God damn it. Camelot music. Yep. Absolutely great. Love it. I think I saw a Wake Up Dead video. Maybe I don't remember the schematics on how I found out about this, but this was the first. Love it. I'm with Alan. This is really great. I don't even hate the I Ain't Superstitious cover. But having said that, this is my favorite. Hands down.
Very fair.
But it is getting damn close to being edged out by this absolute monstrosity of a banger. I love this record. My kid recently got this. We were at a record store in Cadillac, Michigan. He got it with his own money on CD, one of the edited versions. They edited the crap out of that Nancy Sinatra song.
Yep.
But we were listening to it on the way home, and it just blew me away all over again. There's so much fire. I mean, you could tell he just wanted to stick it to Metallica on this thing.
Yep.
The riffs, the songs, all great, but the hero of this album is Gar. The drumming, I love how forward the drums are on this thing. He is just absolutely crushing on this record. His fills are so inventive. He's a jazz drummer. I mean, he just puts a lot of flair and spice on these songs. And Dave's voice doesn't even bug me that much on here. This album is absolutely fantastic. But still, this, like Alan said, this is the I think the correct answer, just because of the fact it's so technically proficient, yet still endlessly memorable. Perfect production. It's just, I love this record. But man, this is coming in hot in a close second. And Peace Sells would have to be third for me. But God, it's so exciting. And it's, seeing Dave crying on that Some Kind of Monster thing, and I'm like, dude, you wrote Rust in Peace. You put this record out right after. I said, what the hell are you crying about? I mean, this album alone kind of null and voids the Metallica catalog, as far as I'm concerned. But I still love Metallica, don't get me wrong. But he missed out on Endless Fortune. But fuck, man.
I think he's done all right for himself.
Well, yeah. Plus, he's got gold records hanging in his office of all the riffs he wrote on the Metallica album. So it all, in a way, he kind of won, in a weird kind of roundabout way. But next on our discussion list is Slayer.
All right,
Patrick.
All right, first one that, it's tough to say. That's another thing, is like, I don't know which one to count, because I heard Evil Has No Boundaries on that tape. That's the only thing I heard for years. And then the one that came out, the first one that I bought that was a full album, that was all over the place, everybody was into it, was Seasons of the Abyss when it came out. So I'm just going to say this is the first one for me. That being said, my favorite is a tie, pretty much, between Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits. I really am having trouble picking my favorite between the two right now. That Metal Blade era stuff before they got a little bit more condensed and cleaned up, is just so like infernal and evil sounding, and really wearing the kind of Merciful Fate influence on their sleeves. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call, but it's a toss up between those two. That being said, I listened to the crap out of this. This was a big lawn mowing record for me. This is persistence of time. Just over and over again, auto reverse Walkman constantly. And you know, I mean, now being a grown up and looking at their catalog, I never really got into the one before this that much, and it seemed like they were trying to bring forth like Rain and Blood kind of thing and fusing it with that one, you know, a little bit. So I don't know. This it's like super catchy and has like a lot of variation, which is great. But it's one of those records like this, Master of Puppets, probably Among the Living by Anthrax, South of Heaven, I think. There's a bunch of like records that I love them. If somebody else throws them on, awesome. But I never feel compelled to throw them on because I listen to them into the ground, like in high school, so much that it's like they're still playing in the back of my brain at all times. So this is one of those. It's great. But to me, especially Show No Mercy is just, it's evergreen. I absolutely adore that record. And Hell Awaits took me many years to come around to because it's a lot more murky sounding. It's a lot more epic and kind of drawn out. But it's a latecomer to one of my favorite Slayer records, like in the past maybe 10, 15 years, but it is neck and neck with Show No Mercy, the debut. So that's my spiel on Slayer.
Right on. Melanie.
So the first I ever heard is Seasons in the Abyss, and I still love that album to this day. But mine is Show No Mercy. Just perfect album. Wasn't that like the number 2? Was that the number 2 in the bracket that we did?
Yes. Yep. It was. Because Simon kept holding up his Slayer sign, and then at the very last second, he did things to his Slayer sign.
I mean, we all know we did the Slayer stream, so everybody knows how big of a Slayer fan I am. I pretty much love just about everything they put out, with the exception of that covers album. But
I love that record.
But yeah, Show No Mercy, I still say is my favorite. Just perfect album. Again, that Merciful Fate era of metal was so strong, and just like you tell, there's some influences in there. I know, like a lot of people say Rain and Blood. I do love that album, but I'm a victim of Rain and Blood of just having it being overkill. Listened way too much, heard it way too much.
It still holds up, though. My God,
it does.
Just
it
devastating.
Does. But I love Show No Mercy, and again, Seasons in the Abyss, just because of that nostalgia. Fact is also one of my favorites, but yeah, not my favorite album. So Show No Mercy definitely is now. That came much later in my life, though. Seasons in the Abyss was my favorite for a very long time until I got my hands on the whole entire discography.
All right. Sorry, type in the chat. Alan.
All right. Let's see. It was Slayer. My first was South of Heaven. Why South of Heaven, you ask? Because it was the one the school library had a copy of. That is where
in the South, that just blows my mind.
Weird stuff. I
Not
had
these
heard Slayer
days.
songs. Yeah, I like even this tape that Pat mentioned before. Yeah, this was a big intro to a lot of thrash bands for me too, including Slayer with Evil Has No Boundaries. So I had heard some Slayer songs, but the first album I sat down and listened to start to finish was South of Heaven in the library. And for a very long time, it has been my favorite, which I know is a weird pick, but yeah, it's my pick. I will say, however, though, in the past year or so, it has kind of taken a backseat to Show No Mercy. Show No Mercy always ran a strong second to it anyway. And the last couple of times I've played South of Heaven, it's been like, yeah, there are still certain songs I really enjoy on it, but there are parts of the album I feel like I kind of zone out on now. Whereas Show No Mercy, I don't have that issue. So I've flip-flopped those two kind of in my Slayer ordering. In a recent development, when we did the Slayer catalog, a couple of years ago, I had South as number 1. They've got a lot of really good albums. There are some I like better than others, but yeah, I would have to say now that if you'd asked me maybe a year ago, I'd say my first was my favorite. But tonight I'm saying that nope, the first one I heard is not my favorite from Slayer.
All right. Well, for me, I got to thank the Best of Metal Blade Volume 1 cassette that I wore out for my first time hearing Slayer and Chemical Warfare. And at the time, Camelot Music, the only tape they had by Slayer was this one. So I bought Show No Mercy on cassette. Absolutely fell in love with it. And, you know, new wave of British heavy metal vibes on this thing. They never did another album like this. It still sounds like Slayer, but they got a little bit more stripped down, I guess, a little more aggressive. I really wish Hell Awaits had a little bit more of this on it. I still like Hell Awaits, don't get me wrong, but this is my favorite Slayer, but there's days where this is so damn close. This is another one of those records that was my teenage. This and Kreator, I could not stop spinning this thing. It's just so absolutely aggressive, start to finish. And then they end with that post-mortem raining blood 1-2 punch. Oh my God. Absolutely classic. But today, and usually most days, this is my favorite. Such great riff writing on this thing. The riffs are so catchy, and they're not all fast. You know, the songs are kind of mid-paced and just have a lot of American metal energy in them, you know, even though it's kind of by way of England influenced anyway. It's still very much very classy record. All right, Slayer. We did Slayer. Well, now we're going to the last of the big four for tonight. Anthrax. Patrick.
First one I got after hearing that tape, hearing Caught in a Mosh, this was the one that I picked up. I think I bought it because of the gory, nonsensical, anatomically incorrect, but gory nonetheless album cover.
Where's that fist even coming from?
I don't know.
Disembodied fist.
Somewhere else.
On the second side of the bootleg, it could be Whose Fist Is This Anyway by Prong. Wouldn't that be a good bootleg?
Guy's got a dimensional portal in his throat. I don't know. And I listened to the crap out of it, and then I moved on to other stuff. I discovered I think I got State of Euphoria next, like a couple years. Again, this was like grade school. I got this. I think I was in 5th grade or 6th grade. And I went back and listened to it when I got into their other stuff and was getting into thrash and even death metal and thought it was kind of cheesy. Again, the era was of Persistence of Time, which is another favorite of mine. One that and this are the two Anthrax records that really the only ones that I go back to now, which is weird. They're kind of bookends, very different in sound and everything. But this is actually gone back. Like, it's my favorite now again.
It's a great record.
The whole high school burnout thing. Like, I don't need to hear Among the Living ever again. I'm good. It's great. It's great if you like that sort of thing. The roots of wacky thrash. Great riffs and mosh parts that you kind of heard more so in SOD and everything. And State of Euphoria is fine. There's some good songs on it. But this is again, they're finding their footing. It's the only thing with Neil Turbin. It's very kind of Priest influenced. I love this. I still spin this a lot. It's awesome. Howling Furies. Could probably do without I love the original Alice Cooper song. Their interpretation of it, I'm good. I don't really need that.
The big four in their covers. Metallica was the only one that really did it really super well.
Yeah. I don't know, that riff on Panic is awesome. Across the River, there's some great lurking in the darkness of the city at night kind of metal kind of going on. That's my Anthrax pick, and it was the first one that I heard, but I had to come back around to it over the decades. So.
Supposedly, Danny wrote a lot of that album. A lot of Danny Looker riffs on that thing. All right. Melanie is next.
Mine was Among the Living. First time I ever heard that because of Caught in the Mosh. And that is still Still my favorite album. I love that album to death. I will die on this hill. I love that album.
I love that record too. I spun the shit out of that tape. Holy crap.
Oh my God. I don't ever get sick of it either. If I'm ever in the mood
Over
for
and
like,
over.
yeah. If I'm ever in the mood for like Big Four thrash and I don't really feel like listening to Metallica or anything like that, I usually pull that out and listen to that. So yeah. I mean, Caught in a Mosh is just one of those songs that's so goofy. Like it's a goofy, it's like, oh, caught in a mosh. Like, oh no. But it just gets stuck in my head and I just love it to death. So, but I remember hearing it the first time being like, this is kind of weird. Like these guys are kind of goofy, but it works. I love that album. I love Anthrax. Like it's one of my favorite bands. To this day, I've never seen them live. So maybe someday. I don't know how I've never seen them live.
They played Traverse City a mile from my house. I couldn't, 13-year-old me couldn't believe. I mean, I was an adult, but I'm watching, I'm like 13 or 15-year-old me was shitting my pants. I couldn't believe it. Anthrax in Traverse City.
They tour so much. It's just crazy that I've never seen them. So maybe someday.
All right. And it's funny you mentioned Among the Living, because when I got that tape, I had recently I saved up my money and got, I think it was a Panasonic Walkman, had auto reverse on it. That tape lived in that thing. And then about a month after that, I accidentally dropped it on the concrete and it exploded into about 15 pieces. The Walkman, not the tape.
Huh.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good waste of money. Thanks.
Oh yeah. Spreading the Disease, I like a great deal too. I forgot about that completely. But
Great record. Gung Ho. Come on. What a ripper to end the album with.
Madhouse, man. Madhouse.
Yeah.
So, Melanie, I'm sorry I missed. I'm keeping score here. Was your favorite for Anthrax?
Yep.
Okay. Add that to the sheet over here. All right. Well, before I can talk Anthrax, I have things I have to show. Nick, there you go. When Pat and I have mentioned this, Nick was like, yeah, I think I had a very similar compilation, but it was called something different. And he's like, Rising Metal. I was like, oh, yeah. So Rising Metal it is. And it is a very similar selection of bands. Death Angel, Slayer, Nuclear Assault, Megadeth. But there are some differences to it, too. It has Heathen is on this one. Overkill's on this one. So, yep, another really good kind of introduction to thrash compilation from back in the day. Good call, Nick. Hadn't pulled that one off the shelf in a while. And while we have been doing this, my wife is listening in the other room, and she's been busy. She's up to stuff and things. Melanie, what do you think?
Stop it right now. That is amazing.
We've got
a cat?
Cat and dog.
Yes.
A little corgi. Look at him.
Yep. You're holding, and you've got headphones in one hand and a little skull in the other hand.
That is amazing. My God.
My wife follows Melanie on some of her socials, so she knows. She knows your shit.
I do have a cat, and man, she's the best cat in the world. Yep. I love that cat. That's just so saying, cool.
She's already got it mocked up.
That is amazing. Alan, you got a good one there. Let's clap for Mel.
Always around for Mel.
Indeed, even if she does throw burritos at me at times.
Lucky it wasn't a brick. Anyway, you're up.
Yeah. Good thing I wasn't saying, where's my Zeppelin or something. Let's see. All right, so we're caught up on that. Anthrax. First Anthrax was State of Euphoria. An album I have never been euphoric about. It has some good songs on it. I give it a little too much crap.
Which one I was reading? Which
State of Euphoria?
Oh yeah. That's a little too silly.
Got it cheap at a record show for a few bucks. It just doesn't quite connect with me, but it does have some good songs on it. It's one of those songs when I stop and look at it song by song, I'm like, well, that one's pretty good. That one's pretty good too. Yeah, this one's okay. But as an entire album, I just no thank you. So not my favorite. Favorite is Persistence of Time. I'm kind of with Pat. The first one and Persistence are the two Anthrax albums for me. And I like the first one, but Persistence, I think, came together. If it has a flaw, it's a little too long, but man, it's got a really good set of songs on it. So that would be my take on the Anthrax situation. Which, yeah, it's kind of funny because some of the albums in between often are more popular. Spreading the Disease was a huge album in school, with friends and stuff. And I like the album, but it's just not my favorite. But then, yeah. Now I'm blanking. What's the one before Spreading the Disease? Where's on the table?
Well, there's the Armed and Dangerous EP.
Yeah.
And then there's Fistful of Metal before that.
Oh, wait. I know what I'm doing wrong here. Sorry. Yeah. Among the Living is the one that was huge in school.
Yeah, it was massive. Yeah.
That was the massive album with my friends. Spreading the Disease, I've never... Yeah, there's a couple of songs on it, but I can really take or leave that album.
That's
and
really
for folks that
grown
like
on
it,
me.
That's
really
cool.
grown on me over the years. Like, I never really got into it until, again, like 10, 15 years ago. And like, I was like, wow, because they aren't like quite doing the gratuitous like mosh part thing yet. But you can tell they're like really tightening up their sound, and they're going for less of it. Like, obviously, like with Neil out of the band, they're going away, like not aping Priest as much. They're kind of finding their own thing.
Oh yeah.
But like, I mean, Madhouse, what a great song, and a fun music video too. So
yep.
I like that record. Medusa, great song. I really like that record a lot. As far as State of Euphoria goes, kind of the best sign in the world when, well, in my opinion anyway, like the best song on the album and the biggest single is the cover. It's like
there is a cover they did well. Yeah, I like their version of Antisocial.
French band Trust. And then Now It's Dark song is awesome. It's about Blue Velvet, David Lynch movie.
That one's also good. Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It's you could tell it was rushed and stuff. And Scott Ian like completely kind of like capes up to that, talks about it in his autobiography and everything. So, but yeah.
Good. Yep. Well, maybe it will connect with me. Oh, and
yeah,
Pat,
Injustice. Oh yeah.
Melissa did not want you to feel left out.
Well, that's adorable. That little guy. Holding. Dare I ask?
I think you've got a microphone.
Okay.
No, headphones.
Right.
You've also got headphones.
That's your THC free bong.
These are tobacco products. All right. It's a water pipe. All right.
Yeah, water pipe for novelty only. Yeah.
Yes. Melissa's working overtime in the other end of the house tonight, having her fun. So,
all right.
All right, Marty, your turn for your Anthrax breakdown here.
Well, my first was this one, Spreading the Disease. God, the production on this record. It's almost like the best live production ever. The guitars are so aggressive and sharp, and the songs, Joey, he took the Neil Turbin thing, and I don't know. I think he is I hate to say better because I really like Neil Turbin's performance on Fistful of Metal, but they took a lot of the good things about Neil Turbin, and I think Joey embodied that, but it was just a little bit better, a little bit more confident, maybe, especially up in his higher register. But longest time this is a favorite. Among the Living comes out, blew me away. I still love that record. I spun the hell out of it, but over time in the years, this ended up being my favorite Anthrax. Persistence of Time is a great record. Yeah, I think Wade said it's a bit long. It is a bit long. It's 11 tracks, but this is easily one of the darkest Anthrax albums. And it isn't, the music is a bit darker, but the lyrical content, very dark.
Yeah. Great. Really good lyrics.
The
lyrics are really good. The songs are so good. Even the cover. I mean, the cover is great. They did a great adaptation. It fits perfectly with the damn record. It's amazing. And it isn't like Mexican Radio. They had started the damn album off with it, and it's great. It isn't. Got the Time, and then Got the Time. Sorry, Got the Time. That's later in the album, but anyway, yeah, this is. And I even like their Worship Music and For All Kings. They're great records. I was shocked. I'd listened to the crap out of those records when they hit. It sounded like, the formative years of Anthrax again. They had the fire. Joey sounded great. The songs were so well written, but still persistence of time. If I'm in an Anthrax mood, this is usually the one I reach for. Great record. That's my favorite. Which brings us to Testament. We're going down all the heavy hitters.
All right. So the first one I got, somebody dubbed it for me, The Legacy, and my favorite, and the only one I ever really listened to ever. I own the New Order. I like that. I've given that a few spins. I've given most of their other albums a chance. What is it? The Ritual. There's that song Electric Crown. It's like a pop thrash, like post thrash, early '90s kind of song. I kind of dig that song. It goes on a little bit too long, but I mean, this is apex Bay Area thrash right here. I mean, Over the Wall, Haunting, awesome. Oh man, this is so good. This is really all I need by Testament. First one I heard, only one I really jam.
Raging Waters.
Raging Waters.
Alone in the Dark, Apocalyptic City. Holy shit.
Yeah. Curse of the Legions of Death.
Cotlod. Yeah. I mean, it just rips. I mean, I love that that sound that came out of. I mean, it's dated. I'm sure it's not great to maybe younger people or whatever, but that particular sound that Pyramid Studios in Ithaca, New York got for a lot of their recordings is just, kind of just defined thrash the way it sounds. Is like Alex Perry-Ellis, I think, produced it. Everything about it. Love it. Only one I need.
Fair enough. Cotlod always just made me think of like something you get by sitting on a toilet seat in a frat house. Like the next day you're having to buy like the little comb and stuff. It's like, what's my? God, man, I got the Cotlod.
I need that topical ointment. Yeah.
It's like, oh, geez, it's just itch. It's the burning is bad.
I
Should
definitely
have held it till I got back to my dorm.
What's up, Eric?
Had that issue ever.
Count your blessings.
All right, Melanie.
Hey, Eric.
So the New Order is the first I ever heard, and it's also my favorite. I love that album to death. The Legacy is obviously phenomenal, and I credit that to be one of the best thrash albums ever made too. But I've always been New Order. That's the first I heard. It's the one that I love the most. And funny enough, Souls of Black is also one of my other favorite ones. So I really like Testament. People get really annoyed by them. I think some of their newer stuff is really good too.
Really good.
Yeah.
Albums are a bit long, but they're good.
Yeah.
A lot of people love them.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, my dog, I don't know if you can hear him. He's howling because he agrees with me.
He does. He's clamoring about the blast beats on the New Testament song is what I think he's barking about.
But yeah, I mean, the New Order I got just because I was such a space nerd. So when I saw that album cover, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna listen to that. That was a blind buy. Like that's what you had to do back then. It was a blind buy. I remember buying that, and I love their logo too. Their logo, Testament's logo, is so iconic.
The ultimate heavy metal tramp stamp. I think so.
Exactly. Yes, it really, really is if you think about it. But I love the Legacy. But again, New Order has always been the one that I've stuck with, and it was always the first one I heard too.
All right, Alan.
All right, for me, first one I heard was Souls of Black, which I just mentioned, and I've always liked that one. It's not my favorite, and I understand it's not their best, but I have always liked it. My favorite, and this one is very just loaded in sentimentality, is Practice What You Preach. I understand the Legacy is the correct answer here, and I don't fault the Legacy. The only reason my answer is not the Legacy is I came to the Legacy a bit late. I first heard it more like in, I'm going to guess late 92, maybe even 93. And so, by that time, thrash wasn't doing a whole lot for folks anymore. And so it was just like, okay, yeah, there's another old thrash album. Yay. So wasn't, until, revisiting it in recent years, I'm really like, oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. So I get, Legacy is superior in a lot of ways, but the album I've always gone back to and still do and still enjoy it a lot is Practice What You Preach. So That would be my answer. See, CBN just mentioned, The Gathering in the chat. That's an incredibly good Testament album, kind of from the middle of their catalog. I think he gets forgotten sometimes. And yeah, the newer albums are fine. They have that standard Nuclear Blast contract problem where they're just, they're doing what they do. They do it well. They're really not venturing outside of their comfort zone whatsoever. Just the label's like, just make a good solid thrash album. That's what everybody wants to hear you do. That's what we'll pay you to do. Everybody will be happy. You'll be happy. We'll be happy. Fans will be happy. And that's what they do. So they're fine. They don't always have the most replayability long term, for some of the newer albums. Like Marty said, they feel a little long, and it's kind of like, yeah, another Testament album is probably going to be very similar to the last 3 or 4 Testament albums. And that said, the new one's going to come out here in October, I believe, and it should be worth checking out. But yeah, that would be my 2 cents on Testament. Got to go with the dark horse pick on Practice What You Preach.
All right. Well, first one I heard, Legacy, and yep, still my favorite. This album is really a clinic in how to make a perfect thrash record. It really is, from start to finish. They got a singer, Chuck Billy. His voice is it's melodic, yet he's got a lot of power. He's gruff, and he didn't sound like everybody. He didn't sound like Russ from Forbidden. He didn't sound like, the dude from Violence. He didn't sound like all that. The Bay Area, because they all kind of had unique singers, but there was some similarities there. But I don't know. This is just great. And they'll always be, and I even like Practice What You Preach a lot. I followed this band, and there was a hot minute in my teenage years where I was, writing the fan clubs and trolling for free stuff, basically, and actually got a form letter back from Testament and a sticker. Cool. I thought that was the coolest shit ever. It kind of cemented my love of this band, but through the years, they tinkered around with a bit of a death metal thing, and which didn't really fit for me. Still good, but just didn't feel right. Just didn't feel right. Yeah. But yeah, Newer Testament, good, long, but very, very good. And going in, you're getting a Testament record. They're not gonna. Demonic was a little bit different. That was a little bit kind of
Yeah.
But
is that the one? James Murphy was in the band for a bit, right? Like,
yeah, he was on Low. Low, he was on
Low. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, and to that point, Marty, even those albums like Low and Demonic, yes, they kind of changed lanes a little bit. Not as drastically as most of their thrash counterparts through the 90s, though.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of thrash bands in the 90s have at least 1 or 2 albums where they completely lose the plot.
Yeah.
Testament, Demonic is going to be most people's least favorite, and really it's just the vocals are off there with trying a little too hard to get more aggressive. But they never made like a grunge album. They never made like a new metal album. They never got so far into the groove metal that they completely lost the ability to write some decent songs. So Testament, of all the thrash bands, both German and US, I kind of feel like they always at least stuck closest to a thrash formula compared to anybody else. So they get some bonus points for that in my book.
Right on. All right, Pat, we're gonna do some Overkill now. Some East Coast Titans.
Nope. Overkill. Sorry, the connection's chopping out a little bit here. I think you guys are back. So I know usually when you guys usually when you guys freeze for me, it means I'm frozen for everyone else. So all right. So Overkill, first one I ever got. Years of Decay. And yeah, it's my favorite currently. I have this nice little CD box set here. I like Taking Over. I like most of their other records.
I can't believe Feel the Fire isn't higher on your list with a punk influence in it.
No, Feel the Fire was my favorite for a long time. And then I came back around to revisit this past couple of years, and it's just past it, like just by a little bit. Feel the Fire is awesome, but this you can clearly hear the band meeting. Like, listen up, guys. I imagine Bobby Blitz talking like an old timey, like gangster or something. Listen up, fellas.
He talks like he sings. He has that same voice.
Like Master of Puppets was awesome. Let's do something kind of like that because it's got that like kind of complexity and like all the tempo variation and stuff. And I don't know. This was one of the first CDs I bought. Obviously not this copy, but one of the first CDs I ever bought. And Elimination, the Elimination. I just love that. Evil Never Dies is a ripper.
Yeah,
they got slow songs on here. Playing with Spiders, Skull Crusher. It's a really intense fucking record. Like it's very, very intense. And I've just come back around to it. It was like a high school one for me. All the ones kind of in between Feel the Fire and Years of Decay all have their moments, like a couple of tracks, maybe half the record, pretty good. I love Hello from the Gutter. Like that song's awesome. A lot of fun, but oh yeah, what's up, Jim? Yeah, maybe if the glasses are new. I've known Jim for a long time. But yeah, like I don't know. I've just recently rediscovered my love for this past couple of years. When I think I was revisiting a lot of early '90s thrash stuff, and I slapped this on, and I was like, damn, this is good. You could definitely tell that they were like, okay, we have to up the ante because of what's going on in thrash right now. Master of Puppets like raised the bar for everybody, and they're holding their own with it, but there are parts like, especially Elimination, it's like they're really trying to do a Master of Puppets thing with that. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're doing it well and doing it in the Overkill, style. But I Bobby's vocals on it too are just vicious, like venomous, spat, angry, guy from Jersey kind of vocals. I love it. So
give Horoscope a chance. That record rules too.
Oh, that album's so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried a few times. I've had trouble getting into it, but I'll give it a shot.
Give her another shot. If you stumble across it in a used bin somewhere, snag it because it's
it's on here. So
right on
in this box set. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, Melanie.
Yep. Years of Decay was the first I ever heard, and it's also my favorite Overkill. Sure. I saw them last year with King Diamond, and Bobby kept taking some breaks and going behind the curtains. So I think he's a little gassed out here and there, but he still sounded pretty good.
Is he hitting an O2 tank or something between sets? But sorry, I heard he was hitting like an O2 tank.
It's possible. It's possible because he goes back there during the longer riffing parts to certain songs and takes a little. Like he disappears for a couple minutes and he comes back. So maybe he is doing that. But yeah, Years of Decay has a lot of Black Sabbath influences in it. I don't know if people have ever really noticed that, but they credit Black Sabbath being an influence for a lot of the writing and the music of that album. You can definitely hear it. It's definitely more of a proggier style of album that they've had in their discography. And that's something I've always enjoyed the most. I love just about every Overkill album. Again, another band that still puts out relatively good music throughout the years, even now. They're still pumping on and they're still making out music that people really enjoy. But those first 5 albums that they put out are so good. And every album has a different relic to it that people are like, oh yeah, that's the best for that reason. But Years of Decay is always the one that really stuck with me. So first and also my favorite. Oh, he was just vaping.
Yeah, because he was a smoker for a long time, and I listened to a podcast interview with him. He's like, I'm on the vape now. It's much better. That was, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. But.
Before they just came out and said it isn't better. It's still bad.
It's still bad.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
All right, Alan.
Just kind of following suit. First was Years of Decay. Still my favorite. My second favorite heavy metal album of all time. So not much is going to beat it. And it's funny because Feel the Fire might be in top 25 of all time. So it's one of those bands that made 2 albums that really are just A+++ kind of material. it just, yours just is, slightly better for me. And like Pat mentioned, just, the intensity on the album is amazing. There's only like one track where I feel like, maybe it drags a little bit, but whether they're just, screaming at you with, like Elimination or, just absolutely pulling out, the Sabbath doom on Skull Crusher, playing with spiders and everything between. It's just, a tour de force. Feel the Fire is absolutely amazing too. It's just, it's a different phase of their career. It's one of those albums, like Pat, said, all these, debut albums by those bands are all fantastic. And from several of them, they fall in that weird little niche of where they came out maybe right before the band really got into their thrash, phase. That there's, you can call them thrash albums. I'm not going to fight you about it. But things like, Fistful of Metal and, Feel the Fire, they still have strong components from other influences, whether it's new wave of British heavy metal or, Overkill's, punky Dead Boys kind of, snotty worship. You hear those influences a lot more on those debut albums than you do even on their second albums. Makes them fun, but it makes them like comparing apples and oranges a little bit. So it's like, you Feel the Fire is this, Years of Decay is just a few years later, something very different. And I'd also agree with Pat that, the two albums in between have plenty of good tracks on them, but those are the two for me.
Eric mentioned Deny the Cross. It's great.
That's a fucking killer song.
Banger,
absolutely. Yep.
All right. Yep, Overkill, another one of those bands that were big for me in my teenage years. I had a Overkill shirt for every day of the week at school. A bunch of different. It's kind of funny, but you could tell which day of the week it was by which Overkill shirt I wore. But first for me,
Marty, did you wear a Taking Over shirt the day that Iraq invaded Kuwait?
Oh boy! Wow, Alan. Wow.
I was graduated at that point, wasn't I? Maybe not.
Well, when you put it that way, it's less funny.
I know. That's why I didn't laugh. Anyway, go ahead.
A quick aside, since we're talking about T-shirts and embarrassing situations, like I always wanted one when I was a kid, but there was no way like I was going to get away with like wearing it. Like I always wanted the middle finger. Fuck you.
I had that shirt, but I couldn't. My mom told me I couldn't wear it, so I just had it in the drawer.
I bought a bootleg of it off of eBay, and I'm just like a father that's just always just going to trampoline parks and doing family stuff like constantly. I'm like, I'll never wear you.
I know.
Probably ever, but I own it. Hold it up with my.
There are certain artifacts from our childhood that we just have to go back and acquire.
Have to have.
Yeah.
We understand that it's not going to work out well, but it doesn't. That's not the point,
right? So this is my first. Loved it. Still love it. But then I heard recently thereafter this thing, and this thing just blew me away. It's still my favorite. And it's tough because Years of Decay and Horoscope, those are really high up on the list too. Both of those are fantastic records. But this album, They Were Never This Again, that was just a lot of really interesting, well-written songs, a bit of a punk vibe in it, which I loved. And again, Overkill with Rat Skates playing drums. He just had such a raw and energetic way he played. His double bass was like sloppy, but just so powerful. They just really did a lot for these songs.
It's like that Filthy Animal Taylor double bass.
Totally. He was like a pro skater too, wasn't he? Or a semi-pro skater?
I don't know if he was sponsored, but he definitely, I saw footage of him skating in that documentary on him.
Yeah.
That Born in the Basement documentary. And he was shredding pools. Like he was really good. And he owned a skate shop. Like he opened a skate shop after he left Overkill. So he definitely, he would probably sponsored locally or by somebody smaller. But
right. But yeah, this album is fantastic. It's still fun to listen to. It's another one of those that I can put it on and be just as excited as the first week I heard it. So, and again, thanks to Logan for hooking me up with this OG copy. And Overkill, Feel the Fire, which leads us to Iron Maiden.
All right.
Scream for me, Salem.
So, first one I got when it came out, drugstore, Phase Drugs. Anybody from upstate New York? No Prayer for the Dying. So
That's a tough entry
not my
point.
favorite. Yeah, but I don't hate it.
No.
In the context of like their whole discography, I think it's interesting that they tried to do like a return to form for the synthy records, after Seventh Son and everything.
Yep.
I like some tracks on here. There's some really embarrassing song titles like Public Enema #1.
Yeah.
Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. But some good songs like Mother Russia, the last song. Tail Gunner, they're trying to do, like a sequel to Aces High, more or less.
Good song,
it's
but
cool
it's standard fare. Yeah.
A little repetitive too. Tail Gunner. You're a Tail Gunner. But I like it. I mean, God, that was the thing. I didn't get into Number of the Beast for another year or so, and it's tough. I mean, do I pick Number of the Beast or do I go with like one of the first two? It's a tough call for a favorite record. I'll probably go with Killers nowadays, I guess, but they have such a huge catalog. Power Slave was one that I came along to much later, and I really love that record. That was like last 10 years got into Power Slave. So I will say a toss up between Killers and Power Slave for me. But yeah, like the early stuff was an acquired taste because I wanted to hear Dickinson, but I got into it eventually. So.
All right. Melanie.
So Number of the Beast was the first Iron Maiden album I ever heard. But this is my favorite Maiden album.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's neat.
I love Power Slave. Holy shit. This album, 10 out of 10. Perfect album, in my opinion. Bruce sounds the best he's ever sounded on this album. It's got that proggy feel to it. Some of my all-time favorite songs. I love Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight. I don't ever get sick of those songs. Even Power Slave, the self-titled track. I love this album. I love Iron Maiden. I even like their new albums. I know, Marty, you've got some gripes on them, but
The latest one is really, and Final Frontier I don't like, and I don't like the new one either. Book of Souls has its moments, but
Book of Souls is good. I think you should. But no, I love Power Slave. I do. Of all the like Iron Maiden memorabilia, whenever it's a Power Slave, I'm like, yep, I'm buying that. The shirt, yep. Oh, they're reissuing it. The Zoetrope vinyl, of course. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy that. I don't need it. It's probably the dumbest thing I'll ever buy, but I'm
Is
gonna
that
spend
the
$40.
hieroglyphs on the vinyl?
Yeah.
It's really cool. That thing looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't need this at all. A bootleg? Okay. Yep. Give me that live bootleg that I'll never ever listen to, but I'll get it because it's Power Slave and I love that album. So, yeah. What's gonna use?
All right.
Yep. I did. I sold a lot of their new the digipacks. I got rid of those because I fucking hate those. And I'm starting to find all of the jewel case CDs now because that's how I am as a collector.
Yeah.
It's got to be uniform.
Right on. All right, Alan. Iron Maiden.
Yeah, this one it's a little fuzzy. I know I started, kind of paying attention to Maiden. It was right when No Prayer for the Dying came out. That was like the new album in stores. It's just like, ooh, but I didn't get it right away. And I think in the meantime, I'm almost certain I ended up getting both the self-titled and Killers at the same time at the same record show for like, $2 or $3 a piece. The very first thing I heard by them was the Made in Japan EP, but we'll say I got the first two albums, were my actual first albums by them, and they're both fantastic albums. But my favorite my knee-jerk answer is usually to go with Peace of Mind. The first 6 to 7 tracks on Peace of Mind are pretty much flawless. Yes, some of them have been overplayed at this point, but they're still fantastic songs. You get Revelations in there, which is probably my favorite Iron Maiden song of all time. And the album, yeah, the last few tracks on side B get a little weird, but yeah, that's usually the one if I have to pick off the top of my head, I usually go with Somewhere in Time, which I heard a little bit later. So in this case, I'd have to say, no, my first one was not my favorite for Maiden. But yeah, really across, all those early Maiden albums, it's kind of hard to pick one that's, the wrong answer. Because, they did a ton of good stuff there, of course. So that's my Maiden rundown. Marty, what's yours?
I had a real hard time figuring out what my first one was, and I'm pretty sure it's Number of the Beast.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, classic. Nowadays, I'm so tired of the hits on here, but what are you gonna do? It's got Hallowed Be Thy Name, of course, The Prisoner, which is there's a favorite of mine on this record for sure. Another favorite from the Bruce era. But for me, always will be the right answer right here. Iron Maiden Killers. This album is absolutely perfect. I love Di'Anno on it. I love the songs. A lot of these songs, they still play, and there's nothing bad on here. Even the ballady type stuff is good. Paul had a unique vocal style, rough and ragged, but he could take it melodious just fine. It worked.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have done it on a 2-year-long world tour. That wasn't happening, but Paul Di'Anno was a perfect fit for building Iron Maiden out of nothing into taking over England. Bruce had the power to take them on the world stage and compete as a force in heavy metal for sure. But yeah, I love the Di'Anno years, but Killers, Iron Maiden's perfect too, but Killers is better production, better songs. Absolutely great. Absolutely. Somewhere in Time's up there too. I really love that record too.
I had trouble getting into Di'Anno when I was a kid, when I was like a teenager, because it just didn't have the pomp and the dramatic elements that
less theatrics, more bar brawler.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, this doesn't. It took me a few a while before I came around. I was like, oh wow, this rules. This guy's awesome, But it was a bit of a curve for me. Like I was young and foolish.
Yeah, I think in my case, because another one I got extremely early was the Live After Death live album, and so I kind of ended up hearing both vocalists, in a really early phase. So I got used to both of them. I hadn't gotten so used to one that the other threw me off. That's all.
I'm sorry, I'm typing. Pat, we're on to Dio next.
Oh, okay.
Is this like any Dio album, or does it just have to be his solo stuff?
I think it's solo stuff.
The
way I took it.
Admit solo. We can also skip Dio, folks. Yeah.
I mean, so again, like compilations and stuff. I think actually the same company that put out that thrash metal comp did just some straight up metal comps. And I'm struggling to remember what they were even called right now. It was something really goofy, like Hot and Heavy, or I don't know. I think one was called like Strike Force Volume 1 or something like that. But on several of those, it had a Holy Diver and Rainbow in the Dark. So I mean, I knew those songs back and forth. I don't really think like I'd listened to like a full length proper Dio record for many years, like probably until like my late 20s or anything like that. But I mean, the first one I'm pretty sure was Holy Diver for me much later, and that's my pick. I mean, it's the Dio record. I like Last in Line a lot too,
And Sacred Heart. There's some good shit on Sacred Heart too.
I haven't gone any further than that, to be honest. It's Holy Diver and Last in Line. Those are the ones I own. Those are the ones that I'm familiar with. Obviously the Black Sabbath stuff and some Rainbow stuff I know pretty well too. But as far as the solo output, those are the two that I own. And I'll go with this one. Holy Diver. It's a perfect classic heavy metal record from the early 80s. So go with that.
Right on. Melanie.
Yeah, I mean, Holy Diver is the first I ever heard of Dio. I even have the Rainbow in the Dark single.
Oh yeah,
Match
I've
the
got that too.
single.
I have never seen that. That is it.
Ooh.
Can I see the cover again? That's cool.
Really?
I've never seen that. Cool.
Yeah. It's
Neat.
this is one of my grails in my collection. I inherited it from my aunt after she passed away. She was a huge Ronnie James Dio fan. But I mean, okay, I know we're not talking Black Sabbath, but Heaven and Hell is my favorite Dio album. Like, but Holy Diver is probably one of my favorites. I mean, I really didn't go into his solo albums too much until later in life. I was a huge Rainbow fan.
Oh my god.
So
good.
yeah, so I was more of a Rainbow fan in terms of Dio and just Richie Blackmore's Rainbow and Rising, and just all those albums are so goddamn good. So I'm going to say Holy Diver because that's probably the one that I'm way more familiar with. But now I'm going to start diving into Dio and see if I like more of his solo albums.
One thing is always good about a Dio album is his voice. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that has
Incredible.
just so much character and soul in his singing.
Incredible.
Oh my god.
So he was just one of the best singers ever, man. His voice was just incredible.
Rainbow Rising, what an album. That album is
good.
Long Live Rock and Roll. Gates to Babylon. Oh my god, what a song.
Yep, and that's it. That's what I'm going to listen to now. Melanie Loves Rainbow is going to be coming up soon.
Perfect. All right, Ellen.
Yeah, I think with Dio, a lot of folks will be the same story. The very first thing I heard by Dio was the live intermission recording, which is one of those kind of an EP / mini album deals. But yeah, in terms of albums, the first one was Holy Diver. Favorite still Holy Diver. I do like all the first 4 albums. I think are all very solid. After that, it starts to get a little hit or miss. But yeah, first is Holy Diver. Favorite's Holy Diver. No surprise really there. Yeah. Marty, what about you? I'm
just gonna cut to the chase and say Holy Diver. I pulled it.
Fair.
First I heard by the Dio band, and it's still to this day a classic. It good, well produced. Rainbow in the Dark, we're all a little tired of that one maybe, but the rest of the album, it just rocks. It's so good. He's commanding presence on the mic for sure. Which leads us to AC/DC.
Okay, let's see here. So as I'm flipping for my favorite here,
I'll be right back.
My first exposure to AC/DC was, I don't own it anymore, was one of the first things I ever got as a kid. Somebody gave it to me, a family member, I think, was Who Made Who, which is a best of / soundtrack for cinematic classic Maximum Overdrive, Stephen King movie about technology rebelling. Excellent piece of cinema. I recommend it highly. So I heard that. So that was a best of. And then around that time, or like the following year, the one that was out that was big that I wanted to own that I picked up was Razor's Edge, which it's not a metal record, but one of my more favorite Brian Johnson records. I'm not super into Brian Johnson AC/DC really these days. I like Back in Black as much as the next guy. But Razor's Edge actually has some pretty strong tracks, I still feel. I'm way more of a Bon Scott era guy. And my favorite AC/DC record is If You Want Blood, the live record. Whole lot of Rosie on this. Killer song. Rock and Roll Damnation. The Jack Problem Child, it's awesome, loud sounding, super energetic live record. And I loved the cover when I was a kid too, because I was like, it's got gore, had the shirt too as a kid. Thought I was a badass for wearing it and everything, but yeah, just tracks are a bit faster. It's real almost kind of punk in spirit in its own way. That Australian pub rock kind of attitude and everything. So that's my pick for favorite AC/DC record. But yeah, it was like Who Made Who, and then Razor's Edge were my introduction to the band.
Good calls. Let's see. Let me get the controls over here, and we'll get Melanie booted up. All right, Melanie, what's your take on AC/DC?
So, fun fact, AC/DC is one of my all-time favorite bands.
Very cool.
And I will talk about them for hours if you give me time. The Bon Scott era obviously is my favorite, but obviously Brian Johnson is also loved. So the first I ever heard was Back in Black. Here's the original US copy that my dad gave me that I still have. And then now they're doing all of these 50th anniversary reissues with the gold nugget pressings.
Huh.
So, of course, I bought all of those. But first was Back in Black, but forever will always be my favorite is Power Age. Oh my God, I love this album. Best goddamn album cover. Like, look how badass that is.
How can you not love the Bon Scott era? I mean, what a gem. Yeah.
And like these pressings are so nice. They did such a good job with these 50th anniversary pressings. And for whoever like wants to get these in your collection, they've reissued them on Classic Black too. For me, I was happy about this because you find these in your local record store, they're beat to shit. Like they're just not in good condition at all. And
I got one for $5 a long time ago, and it's in great shape. I got back in the day when people hated vinyl. I love those days. I wish they'd come back.
And I paid a wooden nickel for it.
Right. So I mean, I have all the originals too, but they are so bad. Like I can't even play them. So I went on like just a huge buying spree, and I bought all the 50th anniversary, like even the Brian Johnson era. But yeah, I love Power Age, man. But of course, it's hard. It's been hard because I could also easily say High Voltage is my favorite too. I go back and forth between the two. This album is so classic. Album. Yeah. But yeah, I should do a AC/DC stream someday and really throw people off because I could definitely do a huge deep dive. I mean, Highway to Hell.
I'll invite you on.
Seriously, Highway to Hell. Oh God. Okay, that's it. It's over. I'm gonna even Jailbreaker. This is such a phenomenal live album. Highly recommend getting this too. But yeah, such a great band. One of the best. But yeah, Power Age will always be my favorite AC/DC album. I do love AC/DC. I will not ever hide that either. That is just one of those bands that I collect whenever I see something.
Nice.
I have slippers.
So they like you're slipping your foot into Angus's mouth. Is that the slipper shaped like Angus? Oh, okay.
It's just a black slipper and it says AC/DC on the top. That's all it is. It's very, very simple.
All right, Alan.
Very cool. We've got a guest lined up when we do the AC/DC discography.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
That would be
100%. 100%.
Would it be fun?
Yes.
About 50 albums in, I'm like, this album sounds second verse same as the first type of thing.
But there would be a point somewhere in the 2000s that it might get a little tedious. Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair. Let's see. You can tell Pat and I are similar in age because we have a lot of the same entry points on this stuff. A lot of my friends got into AC/DC with that, Who Made Who, the soundtrack. I didn't click with that. So the first one I ended up getting was The Razor's Edge, which is fine. It is one of the better Brian Johnson albums. I like it. It's not one I really play very often anymore, so it's not my favorite. I hadn't really given much thought to a favorite AC/DC album, but my knee-jerk response is actually Power Age. It's a very underappreciated album. People make a big deal out of all the albums around that one, and it's just like they miss it. And I think part of the problem was it was one of the very last ones to ever get an American release. So, when AC/DC, broke out huge with Back in Black, the US labels started putting out all the older Australian albums that had been released elsewhere in the world, but really had never had any US distribution. And I think Power Age was the very last one that ever saw a US pressing. So that probably has never helped it. It also lacks one of the big live staples. It doesn't have the Jack, and it doesn't have a whole lot of Rosie. There's really nothing that stayed in their live set forever and ever and ever off it. But front to back, it is an amazing set of songs. Great. It's some of Bon Scott's best lyrics ever, just all over that album. Fun songs, heavy songs, bluesy songs, dirty songs. Yeah. Power Age has always been one that I love to death. So, yeah, wasn't my first, but Power Age, at least tonight, is my favorite. When we work through it with Melanie sometime in the future, that might change if I have to really sit down and count up all the nuts and bolts. But I think Power Age would be the answer.
AC/DC's. I'm sorry.
Take it away, Marty.
AC/DC is one of those bands that I was, I grew up Northern Michigan. I mean, you can still turn on Northern Michigan rock radio and you'll still hear Shook Me All Night Long, all the stuff off of Back in Black, which it kind of killed that album for me, to be honest. But I early on got, I think I got them in like a Columbia House order, Fly on the Wall and Flick of the Switch.
Fly on the Wall is amazing too.
Fly on the Wall
is so good.
I wish I kept the tapes. I don't have them anymore. Fly on the Wall is like one of those, every time I go to a record show, I'm like, is there gonna be a cheap Fly on the Wall here today? Because I'm going home with it. If so, never found it. But the Brian Johnson era, I recently got Those About to Rock, and it's fun. What a great record! But for me, the Bon Scott era is 100% special as hell. And I mean, I love this band photo on the back. It's just, you could tell these guys are like 3 apples high. But it's just this album in particular. I mean, the riffs to Riff Raff, that song is rips. It just rips.
Mm-hmm.
And then Down Payment Blues, I always loved it. He just like, Bon was like this drunk street preacher type of guy. He's like singing like everyman songs. Like I'm sitting in my Cadillac and I can't afford the gasoline type of thing. And it's this real, blue collar dude type rock. I think that's why this band took off so well. But this is my favorite. This is a close second. They got a little bit fancier in the production area here, a little bit slicker. But what a great Night Prowler! What a great ending to this song, to this album. I don't have High Voltage on vinyl yet. Like I said, this record I got at a record show in great shape for $4. This record I got at a record show, pretty good shape, $5. It just doesn't happen anymore. I go to these record shows filled with hope that I am going to descend upon this cache of great rock records for cheap, and it just isn't the case anymore. But yeah, my favorite's Power Age. I have that 74 Jailbreak record as well. I'm slowly working through their catalog. I will get all the stuff I eventually want, but I'm not running out there, I'm not filling in the holes. I did that recently with Black Sabbath vinyl, even though I had a lot of that stuff on CD. After that concert, I dropped a bunch of cash on shit I shouldn't have just because I wanted it on vinyl, but we know how that goes. But anyway, we are going.
Yep. Oh, Marty, before you jump, I guess, the lyrics you quoted are great from Down Payment Blues. But the couple of lines that lead up to that, just make it even better. Because he's talking about, being in the car, with this really hot chick, and just the lines that, he's living in a nightmare because she's looking like a wet dream. I'm sitting in a Cadillac and I can't afford the gas. And it's like, oh, you are not scoring tonight, Bon.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. Yeah, just really.
Even songs like Whole Lotta Rosie. He's singing a very pet. It's not. He's not poking. I'm in love with a fat girl type of thing. There's like a passion. It's like an every guy type of like. I don't know. He just was like an everyman type of situation. It was
yelling out her measurements like rapid fire.
Yeah, I mean, you could say she's got it all. I mean, it's a fondness. It's not coming at it from a nasty thing. I don't know. He was kind of a genius. Obviously.
Yeah, there's so many good examples of lyrics across time. Like What's Next to the Moon has some incredibly fun lyrics on it too. Tied My Baby to the Railroad Tracks. Cannonball down the line, talking about running Rover. It's like, yeah, engineer wishing he was home at bed, dreaming about Casey Jones, wide-eyed woman half a mile ahead, thinking about broken bones. It's just like, holy shit, that's just it's mean, it's funny, and it's just fucking brilliant all at the same time.
Yep.
I cannot wait to go to Australia someday just to go to the record stores and get the Australian covers of these vinyls, because
you know somebody there.
I know
Simon bought them all already.
He might not be caught dead being seen buying an AC/DC record, but
he would never.
Notorious AC/DC super fan Simon.
He would never. But someday I am going to hunt those and get them. But for right now, it's a little out of my price range. But which is crazy because they're like $10 down there. I'm sure they are.
Yeah. All right, we are up to. Oh, you were sure something, Alan? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, God damn it, Alan! Look at that. Oh, that TNT is nice. Oh, there we see. That's.
Yeah, they're not all first presses. Like this is the red Albert label, not the blue one, but they are early presses. I think the red ones are like 81, 82 New Zealand presses.
Wow.
And that one is the blue Albert.
Why have we never talked AC/DC yet?
I don't know, but we should.
Yeah.
We absolutely should.
Crazy.
Simon prefers men at work. Anyway, Bathory.
Highly Minogue. Oh, Bathory? Okay. All right. Again, I was an avid reader of Metal Maniacs, as a kid, 13, 14 years old. Saw the review of this, Twilight of the Gods.
Was that done by Chris Maycock or Professor Black?
I don't know. I don't remember. And I mean, I read the review and they described what it sounded like, and I still bought it. And I was still like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know. I was exploring a lot of starting to get into a lot of slower stuff and like doom metal and everything. And this wasn't that. It was like similar tempos and everything. But I also read a bunch about how influential Bathory was to black metal and all that kind of stuff. And it definitely didn't hit me in the right spot. I wasn't really into it. Nowadays, I do like Twilight of the Gods. Great epic sounding, Norse Viking Bathory record. I like it a lot. Not my favorite at all by any stretch of the imagination. And let me flip through and grab which one is. And again, this is like a, depends on the day of the week kind of thing. Bloodfire Death is great. Let's see, where are we here? There we go. I'm going to go with The Return for my favorite. I love the self-titled. I love that, of course, that Venom Motorhead kind of thing with Bathory. But I mean, just from like the title track on, you got Born for Burning on this, Possessed. What else? Return of Darkness and Evil. Yeah, the title track. I mean, they're kind of coming out of that, just kind of aping Motorhead and Venom kind of thing, getting a lot more evil, a lot of darker atmosphere going. Corthan's kind of getting his own sound going. A lot of people seem to think that this is like a big part of the blueprint for, second wave BM. I'm not the biggest black metal guy, but I know that, this is cool. This is a nice original combat pressing that I got cut out. Got it at a good price from one of my viewers like quite a while ago, but it's
very cool.
Sketchy. Got the green combat labels there.
Green label.
Gotta love that.
Nice.
But I love The Return, but I mean, Bloodfire Death is great. It's hard to go wrong with the first four, but I mean, they've got he did a lot of great stuff. So I'm gonna go with The Return for today anyway.
All right. Melanie.
So the first I ever heard was self-titled Bathory because of the album cover, that iconic goat album cover. And I thought it was the worst thing I'd ever heard in my life because I was not into black metal. I really didn't know what I was listening to. And then very much later in my life, within like the last probably 20 years. Bloodfire Death became the next album that I heard, and that to this day is my favorite Bathory album. I absolutely love that album. I do love The Return, and I do love Under Sign of Black Mark. Like, I do love those albums too, but Bloodfire Death is usually the one that I pull now. So self-titled Bathory was first I heard, and then Bloodfire Death is the one that I consider my favorite, and then a close second behind that is Hammerheart. I love Hammerheart. The Viking era Bathory albums are so good, and I really
Magic.
I love them so much, and I prefer them over the black metal ones. And people despise when I say that, but whatever, they're good. So, but yeah, Bloodfire Death really got me into the band and dive more into their discography, or his discography, I should say, and is also my intro to Viking metal, even though it's mostly black metal on that album, but they definitely put a lot more Viking metal into it. So, God, such a great album. I love the album cover too. Such a great album cover.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alan.
Let's see. My intro to Bathory was actually one of those Swedish Metal Attack compilations that had 2 Bathory tracks on it. But in terms of a full album, I'm 99% certain it was the debut, which I was fine with. It wasn't an album I really, latched onto right away, but I didn't dislike it either. It was kind of like, oh, okay, here's a band that obviously listened to Venom and Motorhead. Okay, I see what they're doing here. That's fine. So that was my first. I think my second was, let me think carefully here, because it affects my favorite. Yeah, my second was actually Blood on Ice when that came out. And it was a weird situation where, because that came out in like, I believe, almost certainly came out like, spring, maybe early summer of 96. Chat, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I didn't buy it. My girlfriend bought it. And I was out of town for like weeks on a big geology project. And when I came, back to town, I ended up staying at her place for, I don't know, a week or two, just kind of decompressing after being out in the field for so long. And she had picked it up. She's like, you got to check this out. This is really cool. And I was like, oh, you got a Bathory album. I'm like, that's interesting. All I really knew about them was the black metal stuff. I'm like, and you like it? Because she wasn't into black metal. And she's like, yeah, it's amazing. I'm like, huh, okay, let's check it out. And she put it on. I'm just like, what the hell is happening here? This is different. So yeah, fantastic album. But yeah, it left me in a bit of a quandrum. Just like, okay, same band, but I don't know I had nothing to, again, pre-internet. There was no way to look up what the hell was going on with the Bathory catalog. Anyway, a few months after that, I found Hammerheart in a used bin in a CD store, and I picked that one up. And I was just like, well, okay, it looks like it might go with the Blood on Ice album more, but I'm not going to know. And the first time I played that, I was just like, this is amazing. So I like both phases of Bathory. I like the black metal albums. I agree with Pat. I think The Return is a very underrated album. I think that album takes way too much crap for no good reason. People are always down on it for some reason. I'm like,
I wasn't even aware of that. Just
maybe it's just my limited,
it's a mess. I mean, I think it rules. It's very influential to the second wave, but man, it's a mess.
How many albums have we talked about tonight though that are a mess and we love them to death?
Oh yeah.
And like Pat said, it's the first album's fine, but it's just Venom and Motorhead worship. That second album is something new. It is something different. The formula's not worked out perfectly yet, but it is its own little monster. But regardless, Hammerheart has always been my knee-jerk answer for favorite ever since that first time I heard it. Blood on Ice, is in that same vein. Obviously, it sounds better. It's got, some great compositions on it, but I'm a Hammerheart. That's it for me.
All right.
Oh, and just for folks who don't know and are wondering why the heck Marty and I have not done a Bathory episode, Chris Maycock gets to do that with us when Chris Maycock is ready to do that with us, and we're not going to rush him. So that is reserved for him when the time is right.
Yes, indeed. Okay. For me, first Bathory I had, a friend of mine, he was kind of a punk dude. He had a girlfriend that had this record. This is a very partied on OG copy. He took it from her among a few other records when they broke up, and he's like, I just can't get into this. Gave it to me, and I struggled with it for a bit. I wasn't into the black metal thing yet, and yeah, this record is kind of messy, very raw, very evil.
Mhm.
I think he kind of perfected the black metal aesthetic on Under the Sign of the Black Mark. That very well produced, very thought out, less ramshackle. But this is very good. But the Viking era kind of won my heart, and Hammerheart, of course, is there. But this album, Blood on Ice, this thing it's better than Hammerheart by a bit. I'm not saying Hammerheart's bad. I'm just saying that, wow, he really he stuck the landing on this one. And it's
I agree. I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah, it's a concept record, but it's got some of his best compositions ever. You got the Wood Woman in the Lake. The Lake is one of the best damn songs. That song, it's the one that gives me the chills, and I get a little teary eyed when I hear it. It's so triumphant and so much atmosphere and power to it. And it's funny. He says, "Oh yeah, I found this in the closet, in my closet." Everything that guy said, he was an enigma. He tried to build this false mystery behind the fact that it was him and his dad. You know, Bathory had members at one point, but after a while, it was just him and his dad in a studio.
There's even, it's even contested whether it was his dad or not. And that was maybe just a bunch of bullshit.
No, it was his boss. The producer boss was his dad. And
people in recent years have been saying he balked on that in later life. I'm just saying again.
It was.
Maybe.
But this album
we'll find out one day. But yeah, some of the stuff he came up with. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness there in his.
There is a lot of weirdness for sure.
He did.
But this album is my favorite, and also we were talking in the chat here a minute ago. The Nordland albums 1 and 2. Absolutely, they're right on par with this record, but the production values were even better. His singing has just really improved. There were times like on Twilight of the Gods, I love that record, but his voice struggles. He's really struggling to go places where it wasn't really built to go. But yeah, he went out on top. Both those Nordland records are amazing, but The Lake and the Wood Woman, if you listen to any album songs off this album, spin those two. And if you don't like those, then you're not going to like Blood on Ice. Great record.
Yep. Let's see. It is midnight. Do we want to hit a few more of these and then wrap up?
Or we can kind of go speed round on them, go a little quicker. We're all chatty Cathys, so how you want to do it?
I was gonna say all I had for years was the Jubileum comps, and that was really weird because it skipped all over the place. It would go from like One Road to Asa Bay to like Burning Leather.
Yeah,
it was a weird way to get into Bathory. But anyway, sorry.
Aren't those like fan boots or whatever that they put together? Like the fan.
They came out on Black Mark.
They came out on Black Mark.
They're official.
Okay.
For OG.
Okay.
Yep.
Manilla Road.
Which of your 50 albums is your favorite?
I like most of them.
I mean, gonna get my Ugg boots on and my pumpkin latte because this is my basic ass pick.
Yeah.
Crystal Logic. I mean, it's awesome. Like, I've got a bunch of their other stuff. This is it for me though. This is the one I'm grabbing for most of the time. I love this record. Completely blew my mind. I discovered it around the time that I discovered Pagan Altar, getting back into like traditional heavy metal and some like kind of traditional doom metal and stuff like that. I'd heard of the band for a while, just in magazines and whatnot. But I mean, Necropolis alone, that track rips. Flaming Metal System. The nasally vocals were oddly kind of appealing. Kind of the same thing with Terry Jones from Pagan Altar. I love this is my very obvious, but this is my choice for Manilla Road here, Crystal Logic for sure. So and the first one I heard.
Right on.
Okay.
Melanie.
Crystal Logic is the first I heard, but Open the Gates is my favorite. I really should probably throw a caveat in there. I've only really heard like the first like 6 albums of
That's still
Manilla
a good
Road.
chunk. Yeah.
Everything else past like Mystification, I don't really know too much about. So, but yeah, I love Open the Gates. I love that album.
It's definitely a good one. Spiral
It's
Castle.
a monster album. Yep.
All right, Alan.
All right. First one I heard was Crystal Logic, and someone recorded it for me on a cassette tape. I played it while going on a road trip. I didn't get past the song Necropolis for 3 hours. I just kept rewinding the tape and replaying that song. To Pat's point that it's a killer fucking song, I played one song for 3 hours straight.
Deranged wizard vocals, I love it. So good.
Yeah. There was a period where I agreed with Melanie and picked Open the Gates over Crystal Logic, but over time, Crystal Logic has won out. So Crystal Logic was my first, and Crystal Logic is been my favorite for a while now. But Open the Gates is a strong second. Marty?
All right. Well, this was really hard, and I don't know if this is the right answer even yet, but this is my first Manilla Road record. This promo CD came in as a review for a review. This is Atlantis Rising. And I had previously heard Manilla Road. My friend Jeff Wagner made me a mixtape, sent it to me, and I ended up really liking it. I saw them live. They played a Kalamazoo Classic Metal Fest, kind of blew me away. Then this record ends up coming in my mailbox, and this album, this is their first comeback. This is a comeback album. It's great. Absolutely fantastic. Great. Heavy, good production, which as Manilla Road went on, their production kind of was give or take here and there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying tonight that this is my favorite, but that, again, there's a caveat because Pat's right. Crystal Logic is an OG press that one of our viewers sent me a while ago as a gift, which almost made me crap in my pants. I also really love Mystification. This has got a bit of a thrashy edge to it.
Yeah.
Great record. And I also love, that's wrong. I also love The Deluge. There's so many great, I've got all of their shit on vinyl except for one album that I don't need on vinyl. But one of my favorite bands, 100%. Next up is Priest.
All right. So first one I heard was Painkiller, which was, again, from the music video. You know, this is a recurring theme, but that's my generation. Had the Ignorance Ball and all that stuff. Painkiller. Awesome record. Like it a lot. You know, I knew the single and the song, but I didn't really track down the LP till not that long ago. It's a great killer. Like they're doing like more almost a thrash metal kind of thing, kind of speed metal sort of thing. Rob's vocals on it are super piercing, like one of his more intense performances. Great early 90s, early 90s Judas Priest record. And my favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Sad Wings, which is a tough call. I just saw Marty gave it away there, pulled out Sin After Sin. That was like a very tough decision. But this has Tyrant. It has Victim of Changes, probably my favorite Judas Priest song, I'd say. The Ripper.
Nice.
Such a brief, like intense little blip of a song, but so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Sad Wings right now. I got an entire, almost complete Judas Priest album collection from a lady that I used to babysit for, who didn't have the money to pay me. She was kind of a sketchy person, and she gave me a box of like 9 Judas Priest LPs and also Slayer, South of Heaven, and Venom Black Metal. She was like, I have no money here. And at the time, I was really into punk and not that into metal, and I was like, thanks. And then years later, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have all these.
Yeah. Melanie.
So British Steel was the first album I ever heard, but Screaming for Vengeance is my favorite. I can't get past that. But I do love every Priest album. So if I ever do a deep dive, Judas Priest would be another one that I would probably get into. That and AC/DC. But yeah, Screaming for Vengeance. I love that album so much.
Yeah. Alan.
Yeah, Yeah, Pat could almost be my spirit animal tonight. We're really on the same page with a lot of these. Painkiller was my first one.
I think we're all doing pretty good if he's our spirit animal. That's a good spirit animal to have.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess I might have heard Unleashed in the East first. There's a chance that happened, but among studio albums, Painkiller was definitely the first one I heard. It was definitely the first one I got. And I really want to say Sad Wings of Destiny is my favorite because I love that album to death. Pat mentioned all the highlights on it. I think though Painkiller is my favorite, and I know it is a little bit of a rogue choice. There's a lot of fans that don't like what they did on that album, but I think it's bloody brilliant, and they did it to a T. So I'll say tonight Painkiller is my favorite, but I really want to say Victim because that album absolutely crushes too.
All right,
Marty.
Well, again, we've had this conversation before. In my area of the world, in Michigan, it was either you like Judas Priest or you liked Iron Maiden. You couldn't like both for some stupid reason. I was an Iron Maiden guy, but it was in the last 10 or 15 years I saw the light with Priest. Ended up getting a copy, this very copy here, Sin After Sin. This is my favorite Judas Priest record. I love soulful, bluesy Halford. He's got such an emotional, soulful voice. And then you got songs like Dissonant Aggressor, which ends the album. Isn't that like one of the weirdest, most awesome metal riffs ever? It's just a weird riff. It's so fucking good. I've seen the light with Judas Priest. Do I have all the early stuff now? I think I do.
You probably do.
Yeah, I do. I don't have some of the newer shit, but and this is a close second. I mean, how can you not love Painkiller? Being a metal guy and not liking Painkiller. Thankfully, my kid loves Judas Priest as well. Next up, Motorhead.
Okay. Well, this should be fun. Love me some Motorhead. First one I heard, 1916.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm up late.
Great record.
It's
it's a great record.
So
12:30 in the morning. I'm waiting for Ricky Rackman to play one of the two good videos of the evening. I see a guy stroll out that looks like a scary version of one of my ex-girlfriend's dads. And the first words out of his mouth are, "I make love to mountain lions." And I'm like, okay, this is crazy bestiality, man. What else you got for me? And I mean, I'd read about Motorhead a bunch. Like I knew about their influence. I was a nerd picking up every metal magazine I could read. And one thing that was interesting to me was that like a lot of punk people name check them too. And you'd see it go the opposite way with like Metallica wearing GBH shirts and whatnot, but you didn't really see too many like punk dudes wearing anything resembling metal. So, I was putting it together and I was like, what does that band sound like? And it just hit me how awesome it was. It was like diesel injected rock and roll played 9 million miles an hour. And I got this and I loved it. I mean, it's got great production on it. It's a very varied record. It's their first one on, Epic. It's like a subsidiary of Sony. I thought the original was called like WTG, but it's basically the same label as Epic, I think. And it's got, it's like No Voices in the Sky, kind of a punkish song.
Love that
Speaking
song.
of which, Ramones, which was like, I got to get into the Ramones now, 1916 made me cry, made me weep.
It's
That makes everybody cry.
It's a very good song.
One song that took a long time for me to come around to was Going to Brazil.
I love that song.
The sort of little bit of like LA influence that was starting to creep in because he moved there, like him hanging out with, like, I don't know, Guns N' Roses with Poison or whatever. But not my favorite, but one of my favorite. My favorite is Rock and Roll.
Really?
Nice.
Yes. Okay. I'm a huge fan of the three-piece stuff. Love the Fast Eddie's Filthy Animal stuff. Love it. Oddly enough, probably my favorite from that lineup is actually Iron Fist, and I think that's more of like just because I discovered that one before I listen to Ace of Spades. You know, I don't know, but I like that record a lot, which is funny because it was panned when it came out. Like, it didn't get good reviews. This I just love. Like, this and Orgasmatron are two of my favorite that are like way at the top. And yeah,
Holy
it's just
shit.
a mean, fast Motorhead record. Super catchy. That song "All for You" on here, one of my favorite love songs. Oh my god, so good. The wolf was at your door. Traitor, you know that song. And what's the one lyric, like, "And crows will eat your eyes"? You know, just I don't know. Like, this whole era of Motorhead, they just seem so on fire as a 4-piece. It was such a nice full sound, super aggressive and catchy. I don't know. I can't gush about it anymore. Love it. Love the cover art, Joe Patagno.
Yeah.
Eventually, I want that tattoo, like, on my stomach, like this right here.
Nice.
But yeah, there we go. Motorhead rock and roll, my favorite.
Cool.
Awesome. Melanie.
Have you ever done a Motorhead stream on here?
Oh, yes.
We did. Yep. It was
That one
of our-
almost killed me.
We did it with Chris Maycock. It's like episode
Really?
in the 30s or 40s. It's one of our really
okay. It's
early
one of
ones.
the, okay.
We have
I'll
the
go-
old Iron Maiden font logo on it. It's
Okay.
before we
I'll
even
have
had
to go find that.
the logo.
All right.
It's about a 5-hour episode.
Oh, Marty, it almost killed you. Really? That over?
I thought I had most of the Motorhead shit until we started doing that. And there was like 50 albums that I had never heard and didn't know that it even existed. I'm like, holy shit. And you get towards the end, they start to get real samey and not as good as the early stuff. It was
the
tough.
2000s. The 2000s era, they were pumping out a new album like every year. Yeah.
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 I really like. Never mind. I can't remember. I think Inferno. I like that.
Inferno, yeah. Shane just mentioned it. That one's really good.
I really like
Later in the
Sacrifice too.
catalog.
Sacrifice is a great fucking record.
Inferno is good. Sacrifice is good. Yeah. I mean, I like everything pretty much for the most part. Motorhead's one of those bands similar to AC/DC where I would just buy whatever was put out and just like it. Like, it just never really had anything bad to say about anything that they ever put out. But the first album I ever was obviously Ace of Spades. Like, that was just the time that I lived in. It was on the radio. It was what my parents were playing. But Orgasmatron is my favorite album. And that is such an immature reason why. Like, the album cover is so awesome. And just the album name. It was like, like stupid ass little teenage kids in my, I'm 13 years old and I'm like, my dad has this CD called Orgasmatron. It turned out to be like one of my favorite albums that I ever listened to. First Motorhead album I ever bought. And like, yeah, I love 80s era Motorhead is some of my favorite. Like, just
hell yeah,
absolutely love it. And like I can't say that I don't love the first album too. Obviously, like Self-Titled, Overkill, all of those are so good. But yeah, Orgasmatron has always been my favorite. And that's not, obviously it's past because of the album cover and the name now. Obviously the songs resonate with me, but that was definitely the first one I was ever, I don't know how I was able to buy that album. Couldn't tell you. I don't, maybe parental advisory wasn't on the CD when I got it at the time. I don't know, but that was definitely the first one I ever bought too. I also love rock and roll too, and No Remorse. Like, that early 80s era Motorhead is just like cream of the crop for me. So tomorrow, tomorrow I'm doing AC/DC, Motorhead. Fuck death metal. Sorry, guys.
All right. Ellen.
Let's see. With me, my first Motorhead was Orgasmatron. And again, it was a random record show find for like $5. So I'm like, oh, I've heard about this band. Yeah. I got a lot of, my introduction to a lot of stuff was, just finding used vinyl at record shows and like, the latest 80s and the early 90s. And I still like Orgasmatron a lot. Death Forever is a song I can absolutely crank up any day of the week. But favorite? Yikes. It's late. My brain's starting to not work as well. It's not Orgasmatron. Now, I can say the first is not my favorite. It's really hard to pick against Ace of Spades. but I have a feeling there's probably one I like a little better than Ace of Spades. I'll take the easy way out and say Ace of Spades with a big asterisk right next to it, because there's probably something I'm forgetting. Y'all have mentioned a lot of really good ones already. No one said Overkill. Overkill's a good album.
Yeah, it is great.
I'm with Pat. I think Iron Fist is really underrated. I think I think it lives in the shadow of Ace of Spades a little, and deserves more love. There are a couple of albums along the way that aren't as good. Mike pointed out March or Die, and that album's a dud.
Yeah, could be better.
Yeah. There are some of the albums later in the career get hit or miss. There are still some good ones later on, though. But that's besides the point. First Orgasmatron, still a very fun album, but not my favorite.
Rock and Roll is probably my favorite. Orgasmatron is very close. However, Orgasmatron probably has my outside of the obvious, probably my favorite like deep cut Motorhead song, which is Riding with the Driver.
That's a good one.
That song rips, like Spit in the Devil's Eye, like so hard. I love that song so much. The Bill Laswell production is kind of weird because he was like, he's kind of like an industrial kind of dude or something. It's got an odd sort of like sound to it. I don't hate it, but it's definitely not like the way any other Motorhead record sounds.
That kind of threw me off a little bit early on. I liked the album when I got it, but the production I wasn't expecting that. I'm just like, this sounds really weird.
Yeah.
And it was a while before I got a second Motorhead album. So for a while, I was kind of under the impression that Motorhead just sounds like that. But then, I got a couple of others. I was like, oh, okay, it's just a weird production on that one album.
All right.
Marty, your choice for Motorhead?
Well, I had heard a lot of Motorhead before I actually ended up getting a Motorhead, and I grew up with 1.5 channels, and finally my dad bought a satellite dish. We were able to get much music, and I saw, Mean Machine and Killed by Death videos and all this stuff. I ended up finally getting my hands on the first record I got by them was this one, No Remorse. Nice. I got it for $6.99 at New Moon Records. Good shape. This is a compilation. It's got a lot of killer shit on it. But over the years, my favorite era is the Fast Eddie and Filthy Taylor, the Power Trio. Bomber for a minute was a favorite. Love this record. Got this one for $7. God damn it. Those days. But after all the stuff, there's some amazing Motorhead. I've got a lot of favorites, but my all-time absolute favorite is Another Perfect Day.
Oh, nice.
That's a fantastic
record. I love this record. You got Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy joins, and after Fast Eddie bails, and it is the best of both worlds. You got Motorhead meets Thin Lizzy on here. We did an album club on it. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the soloing, the feel, oh my God, this record is just Dancing on Your Grave, Shine. Oh my God. It's just such a smooth, flowing, awesome record. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to make my kid listen to it tonight.
It's one that has never connected with me, but I will give it another try someday.
I love it.
I never could get into that. And it's something I can't even explain. And we won't go into it, but that album is not high on my list.
But
a lot of folks love it, and that's cool.
He's such an interesting character too. I mean, Lemmy, he's like the yin and the yang. He's like a very well-read, intelligent person, but he also enjoys embracing the sleaze of the rock and roll life. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, he just has such an aura and class about him. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, how do we want to do this? There is a few more here. Can we blow through them, or should we just do one more round and call it?
I would say let's wrap up with Sabbath, because there's only 2 or 3 after that anyway, and I think Sabbath is a good one to probably wrap it up on.
I can manage my stack now, so we can go out of order. Oops.
All right.
Grab it?
Shall I?
Yep.
Okay. First one so my intro to Sabbath, I think I mentioned I did a recent update talking about the first 6 Sabbath records after Ozzy's passing. My intro to them was reading interviews with Alice in Chains, who I was really into at the time after Facelift came out. They cited Black Sabbath as an influence, so I was like, okay, I got to check it out. I was really into Faith No More when I was a kid, and I was not aware that War Pigs was a Black Sabbath song. So I picked this up. self-titled. This is the first one I got. Got it on cassette at a drugstore. And it took a little while for me to come around to it, the kind of lengthy blues jams and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of my parents' music. My stepdad was a big Led Zeppelin fan, so there's some similarities there. Not as many as some people might think. I don't know. I love this record. It's wonderful. It is not my favorite. It's hard to choose from the first 6 when you're talking about the Ozzy era stuff. My personal favorite's probably gonna be Volume 4. I love Volume 4. St. Vitus Dance and Under the Sun being a big reason why. Like, those are 2 of my favorite songs out of any artist ever. But the whole thing, kicking off Tomorrow's Dream, and you got Snowblind on there. I mean, it's a little bit more like psychedelic and weird coming out of Master of Reality. A little less great riffs, but a little less like riff forceful, a little bit more like just kind of weird and a little bit like expansive. Love that. Love the whole thing. Volume 4. So that's my pick for best, my favorite Black Sabbath record. But some days I'm really feeling more like a Master of Reality kind of day too. That's definitely up there with me as well. I've been revisiting Sabotage a lot lately, as well as Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. So it's really anybody's ball game. But if I had a gun to my head, it would be Volume 4. A lot of sentimental attachment to that record too, for sure. So.
Fair.
All right, Melanie.
So the first album I ever heard of Black Sabbath was Paranoid, obviously. I mean, that was just what was given to me at the time, but this is my favorite Sabbath album. I don't know. Like, The Wizard, was always my favorite Sabbath song, but this whole album is just so phenomenal, and just NIB, some of my all-time favorite just songs as a whole are on this album, and just that album cover is so freaking creepy, so creepy. Never seen anything like that before.
I never knew she was holding a cat until later in life.
They did a whole, when they reissued this album, within the last 3 years or whatever, they did a whole backstory of it when they pressed that vinyl. And that was when I learned that she was holding a cat. So I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, it's so hard to pick. I mean, I could say Volume 3 or Sunday or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath a week from now, because that's what I've been listening to. Sabotage is one that I've been playing a ton lately. But yeah, so yeah, I love this album. This is one of my all-time favorite cassette tapes too in my collection. So some NEMS. I don't know. It's probably not worth anything, but it's my favorite. One of my favorites. So yeah.
Try to go online and buy anything Black Sabbath, especially after that stupid concert like I did. And everybody thinks they're sitting on Beatles albums like they're a gold mine.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
I mean, this
stupid.
is in perfect condition. I got it from my father. So
yeah.
Yeah. Looks like she is holding something.
She's holding a black cat. Yeah, you just can't see it. Yeah. Hold on, blow you up here.
And that's funny, because I had a black cat for years, and its name was Sabbath. So
nice.
Oh, really?
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Spooky.
All right, Alan.
Let's see. My introduction to Sabbath was the We Sold Our Souls compilation. But yeah, we'll discount that since it is a compilation. First studio album by Sabbath was Master of Reality. One of my dad's friends let me borrow it. It was in her collection. And yeah, liked it right away. It would be my favorite if Mob Rules didn't exist. If we were talking only Ozzy albums, yes, Master of Reality is my favorite. But Mob Rules is, we've done the episode before, our favorite, top 5 or top 10 albums of all time. And Mob Rules is on that list. So it always feels like I should say Master of Reality, because I do love that to death. But Mob Rules is front to back practically flawless. So Master for first, but Mob Rules for favorite.
Yeah, the whole this is the first album I heard in full by Sabbath. And, I just bought this record after the show, had it on CD, and I'm like, all this shit, I want older copies with the original, nothing boosted or remastered. I don't care if it's partied on, if the cover's a little rough. So the seller on eBay says $25, great shape. I get this home. I get it with a pile of other records I bought, and covered in black mold. I had to clean it with a Clorox wipe. No matter how many times I clean this vinyl, it's static from start to finish. I mean, if you're selling shit on eBay, get your shit together. Ripping people off. This is a $5 record in this condition. Anyway, I'm so burnt out on this album. I still wanted it on vinyl. I think my favorite, like Melanie said, it could change. For the longest time of the Ozzy years was Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, but my favorite Ozzy album at this point is Sabotage. I got this for $3.99 back in the day where people were sane. But again, I'm with Alan. The Dio entered Sabbath. Mob Rules is my favorite Sabbath record. And I recently, in this batch of things that I bought, Sabbath stuff, I got a $30 copy of Heaven and Hell in great shape. The guy actually explained it perfectly. There's not a bump or scratch on the record. I sat in my room, in my little man cave over there, and cried. It like 2 different times during the album. I've heard this album 10 million times. Hearing it on vinyl, it sounds like you're in the room, and hearing Dio, he sounds like a freaking angel singing. It's like, I got all emotional, and it's real close to being my favorite, but I think I have to side with Mob Rules. But having said that, I will give a lot of love to Never Say Die and a little bit of love to Technical Ecstasy. Those albums are often like passed over, but they're so filled with good deep cuts on them, especially Never Say Die. I mean, Hard Road, what a great fucking song. Junior's Eyes, there's like a lot of great deep cuts on there. I love Black Sabbath. They're an amazing band. And I also, and instead of buying a partied on copy of the debut, I end up getting a brand new copy. It was a 2017 reissue. I was blown away how good it sounded. They didn't brick wall it. It sounded amazing on vinyl. In that case, I was very happy I bought a new copy. But anyway, there we go. So yeah, we had some other bands to go over, but we've been very chatty, and
we just had a few. I mean, we're only leaving a few off.
Only a few, only a handful, no biggie.
Yep. Yeah, and big, huge thanks to everybody in the chat. The chat has been very chatty and had tons of cool comments. We really do appreciate everybody taking the time to post stuff. It's really fun to read your stuff.
It's awesome.
It makes the show a lot more interesting for everybody. So seriously, big thanks to everybody who's been commenting and having fun over there in the live chat. It's awesome that you're here, and thank you.
And big thanks to our guests. Two
Absolutely.
people we love very much and always fun to have on the show. It's great to see Pat again. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah,
it's good to be back, guys.
Melanie, always great to have you on, of course, and we'll get you back on for that AC/DC thing, if not something sooner.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be fun.
Do you guys have anything you want to plug or talk about before we jump ship? Start with you.
Go ahead.
Just my members giveaway is being announced on Sunday. Coming up close to 8,000 subscribers, so I'll do another giveaway then. And yeah, that's about it. I try to do like 2 to 3 videos a week. Yeah. And check out my website because I've been doing reviews and I've been really enjoying writing those.
Link in the description. Pat, you've got a lot of new shit going on too. You just released a tape.
Nice.
Yep. Put out a tape by my friend's project, Time Under Earth. It's 2 guys. Matt, who I released a tape a little while ago from a band called Order of Deceit that were like, I mean, metalcore is kind of reductive. It was like that era of metalcore when it was still like metal dudes kind of contributing to it. But like technical long song, like metalcore stuff. One of those guys has a new project called Time Under Earth that's like pretty imaginative, like kind of doom death stuff with progressive and industrial elements. And another person involved in it is this guy Graham, who played in a band called Ed Gein, who were like a technical grind band from Syracuse, who are pretty well known in some circles. So it's cool. I kind of like do, you know, when you throw together a band camp, you put like for fans of kind of thing. And I'd said, like, if you like Godflesh, if you like Neurosis and early Peaceville Doom Death kind of stuff, that's kind of hitting sort of where they're coming from, but it's pretty original. So if any of that sounds good to you, there's links on my channel on my last couple of videos. I've put together a collage, like a music video with some weird cartoons and nice disturbing imagery for one of the songs. So that's up on the channel if you want to check it out. So cool. It's cool. Like kind of, it's doomy death stuff, but not really that like cavernous kind, you know, it's a little bit more like weird and kind of thought out and stuff like that. So that's what I've released. I just did like 100 copies on cassette, professional cassettes. So that's the one thing I've got going, and that and uploads every Thursday. That's what I'm trying to manage. You know, been pretty busy and everything, but I'm plugging along with that, and that's it for the moment. So.
Oh, very cool. Some folks in the chat earlier tonight mentioned they had picked up that tape and thought it was really, really good. So yeah, definitely go check that out.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm super proud of Matt. He did a great job with it.
You're dropping some Godflesh comparisons in your video I watched today. I'm like, oh, maybe I need to check this one out for sure. You have to sneak around.
It doesn't sound directly like any of that stuff, but it's definitely inspired by a lot of it.
Cool. Alan, let's talk metal every Tuesday. What's going on this week? Do you even know yet?
I do not. I've got a few videos in the bank. We'll pick one of them. It might be a St. Vitus discography deep dive, because that was a band
really?
Yep, I've got it filmed, and it felt like, you know, their discography's not long enough to do for a Metallurgy episode. I didn't want to subject Marty to that either, because he's not into Vitus at all. But so yeah, maybe we'll put that one up Tuesday, or I'll have to say there might be something that feels like that's one I can slip in any particular week. There might be something more pertinent that I need to post first. I'll have to look and see what I got posted, but there'll be something Tuesday morning, same as always. And the Vitus episode will come up in the next few weeks.
Right on. And show notes for Heavy Metallurgy. We've got on Monday, there will be a review up for the new Paradise Lost album that Alan has shot. And also Faytooth is tagged onto that review as well.
Yeah, kind of a 2-for-1 Doom review.
I think Logan and Rick are shooting a review this weekend for us for the new Castle Rat.
Oh, nice. I never got around to that, but yeah, a lot of folks are really excited about that coming out.
And I'm going to be shooting, hopefully this weekend, a review for the new Yendud album, which is a Norwegian black metal 2-piece.
They have a new album out?
It's coming out. Yeah, at the end of the month.
Didn't they just release a new one last year too?
We got a promo for it, Mel. Check the
right.
it's in the Osmos folder.
I like them. Maybe I'll get back into black metal after listening to that.
And Wednesday Album Club is Dissection's The Somber Lane. So that's what we've got going on. Another busy week for you on Heavy Metal.
Ground level.
Wow.
Fruit. Very low hanging there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ground level Salem.
Right on. Everybody, y'all rule. Thanks. Thanks again, Melanie. Thanks again, Pat. And we will see you all next week. Yeah. Cheers. Have a good one.
Here's my burrito. Here's my burrito.